How you doing, Matt?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Are you ready to jump back in to the adventure?
Yeah, it's been like a year.
Yeah, it's been a let me check my watch. Yeah, it's been a year. It says it right here.
I just said that.
Well, I just wanted to double check.
Okay.
It actually says it like word for word, about a year.
About a year. Okay. I mean that's as accurate as we can get. Then that's a good thing.
So, we're going to jump back into Maia's story, and we agreed that we are going to also in story jump 1 year ahead.
Yep.
Do you have any expectations, or do you have anything that you feel might happen? Or I'm curious on anything you've been thinking.
So with Maia, the listening back to last year's episode, what I was kind of thinking was I got a big vibe from her that she was like this. She had the like gifted kid syndrome almost, where she had this structure. There was something she was super good at. And then when she wasn't able to do that anymore, her life kind of fell apart. She was super self-defeating. Everything about her was just, I can't do this anymore, therefore I am a failure of a person. And the assassination and resulting fallout of that with the family in that one town really got to her and really gave her the push that she needed in order to decide, hey, I need to fix shit about myself. It was also something that Rose said, where Rose said, "Thank you for making a choice," which really got to Maia, and that's kind of been her, I guess, like guiding phrase is, I need to make a choice. I need to do this for myself. And so she's trying to, I'm not sure exactly what she has been doing to kind of like make ends meet now that she is no longer a killer. Maybe she's like a fucking courier or something. Somewhere where like, hey, she can be out in the daytime, which again, she's not used to, but then at night she doesn't have to worry about her curse getting in the way.
Mm-hmm.
But she still feels like what she wants to do, maybe she'll become, maybe she has kind of taken an interest in adventuring and still like being a rogue and still being good at rogue. She still like practices those skills, but she wants to again use them someday, and maybe not for assassination for hire anymore, but still something with those skills that she wants to get rid of the tiger curse skills just so that she can best do that.
Okay.
I suppose.
Okay. I think Sue has just been following you around. I don't know, like, I don't think that Maia would, like, try to get rid of her necessarily, but I think Sue has just been like, yeah, we're best friends, like, just the attitude of, like, yeah, we're best friends now, and, like,
yeah.
I'm gonna follow you around. And if you have been trying to work odd jobs, she has been trying to help or do whatever she can as well.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time. And as about a year has passed, whether you are doing work and getting work on the surface in the Underdark, I think that you hear, you start to hear a rumor going around, because, sometimes you ask people about, like, little things, or you're trying to keep an ear out for things, specifically having to do with lycanthropy and anything like that, and you happened to hear a rumor about an entire adventuring party who was cursed with lycanthropy and found some sort of answer in the Underdark on how to cure it. And the area that you heard about, because the Underdark is there are the mining areas that, the people have kind of taken up. And I think that's a lot of the Underdark that we've explored so far is more of a little bit more populated Underdark, while there is also the Underdark that is a lot more unexplored. There's the Underdark that wasn't originally mines, that was these huge areas underground that only stronger and more capable people have gone in and come back out alive. And whether those areas have names or... I would think more likely... I personally feel like a lot of the mine areas might have names specific to whatever they were originally called and organized, but I feel like a lot of the Underdark has really been, unexplored and not necessarily too mapped out, and a lot of the, more unknown areas are left to be explored. And you hear about one area of the Underdark that is pretty self-contained. It is a larger area that has seen anything from Duragar, which are like the darker dwarves, or some drow have come from there. Some troglodytes, which are these very kind of ugly but very scary fish-like people. Even Mind Flayers coming from there.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
But that you've only heard little rumors of. But the way that you heard about this rumor happening with this party is that at least they spoke with someone who was a mycoid, which is a mushroom person.
Oh.
Make a general perception check to see if you have ever in the Underdark ever noticed a mycoid person.
Okay. Perception, the best thing that I like, the most thing that I rolled.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 19 plus 4, 23.
23. Yeah.
Nope. 21. I was looking at. Actually 22. I looked at persuasion, then performance, and then finally perception. It's 22.
All the P's. That's fantastic. I think that in your time in the Underdark, you have seen mycoids. And they are these creatures that are about the same height as a lot of, other humanoids, except they are incredibly strange looking. They don't have mouths. Sometimes they wear clothes and sometimes they don't, but they are still humanoid, and their entire bodies can be covered in kind of porous protrusions. And sometimes even different colors. There will be small little mushrooms growing out of areas like their shoulders or even parts of their head. Usually their heads are a bit bulbous too, as if wearing a mushroom cap. They are very, very weird creatures. And the way that you go about hearing this rumor, you overhear two individuals talking in the Underdark while you are down there probably just buying some things, and you hear a small little mycoid, just a little humanoid guy with a big mushroom cap, like a straw. You would think it for a second maybe it was like a wide straw hat, except it's part of his head, and that he's talking. No, actually, because they can't talk, and there is a little gnome talking to him, talking to this little mushroom guy, and the little gnome. You overhear him talking about, like, well, I heard about, this, lycanthropy, and that they came through your town, right? And then there's no response from the mushroom person, which is very weird. And then the gnome still responds like, that's weird, but I'm glad that they were able to get themselves cured. Anyway, it's going to be 40 gold for the bread. And they, trade it off, and the mycoid goes off on his way. And you, I think, just keeping an eye, are able to watch which direction they go, and able to recognize what area of the Underdark to go to next.
That the mycoid went off to.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go up to the gnome because I feel like I can talk to him a bit more.
Sure.
Hey, did you what was that about, like, curing lycanthropy?
Nothing. Are you a cop?
No,
You
I'm the exact opposite of a cop. I promise you that.
are you legally have to tell me if you're a cop.
That's not how that works. And if I said I wasn't a cop, like, how does that? How does me telling you I'm not a cop prove I'm not a cop, and vice versa?
I, you're
It
right.
doesn't work. It doesn't work that way.
I don't know why I'm even nervous. I'm not even doing anything illegal.
Those bread filled with drugs.
No, no. Do you want some?
You sure?
Yeah, you want some bread?
Is it filled with drugs?
No.
Okay, then I'll take some.
Okay. Trade a few silver for some bread. It's actually really good. Like it
Cool.
must have been like baked today.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so now, can you tell me?
Oh,
Did you? I want to know. I'm curious.
Well, anything for a paying customer. I I was I was just making some conversation with Todd, and he was telling me about how a while back, when the Underdark kind of first opened, there was this, I think it was a group of four people who were cursed with lycanthropy, and they came through their town. I don't really know all the details, but I think they found what they were looking for, and at least found. I think they were no longer cursed, which is pretty cool. I didn't even know you could do that down here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really really interesting. I'm gonna need to look into that, and I kind of say that part under my breath so we can't hear it, almost like it's like a, what did you say? Oh, nothing. Type of soft.
He goes, shit. I forgot to ask Todd how he even eats the bread. He doesn't even have a mouth.
Oh, Todd, is that the guy who you were just talking to?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Cool. No, that's all right. That is a good question, too. Want me to go ask him?
I mean, if you want. I mean, I guess if you're more interested in that lycanthropy stuff, you could talk to him, or even, their town is, if you go down and he kind of, points out the tunnel and gives a little direction, if you go down the southeastern larger tunnel and then take the second tunnel on your right, that actually goes down. It looks like one of those tunnels that would probably just be like a dead end tunnel, but it actually goes down to this huge cavern that was part of the original Underdark, and
yeah,
down there were a lot of scary things. I haven't gone down there myself, but Todd's a little guy and he seems to do all right.
Yeah. All right. I will check that out. Thank you. What's your name?
Oh, my name is Church.
Church. All right. Next time you know what? This bread was so good. Next time I have a date, I'm going to tell him to take me to church.
Yeah, of course. Would you like to hear my entire backstory?
Maybe later.
Okay. All right. I'll tell you a year from now.
Sounds good.
So I think with Church's very nice directions, and fueled by his very delicious crispy bread that I'm sure you also give Sue some, pecks away at it, just kind of nibbling just a little bit. She seems to very much enjoy it. And as you make your way down the tunnel, it goes from a very dim light of, a more well-lit and dim light of the more populated area of the Underdark to a much darker area. You might even need to light a torch to be able to see. But
do I have dark vision?
I believe so.
I do have dark vision.
Okay. Sue does not, so Sue will hold your hand. And as you make your way down that way, you are able to find the exact tunnel that Church had described, and it is a smaller tunnel that doesn't really seem to stand out very much. But as you are making your way through it, instead of it being a smaller kind of dead end protrusion from it, in a larger tunnel, it ends up continuing down and spiraling down, and it goes on. You probably walk through this tunnel for about 20 or 30 minutes until it opens up into a much larger cavernous area. And with your dark vision, the light sensitivity, you're kind of surprised by the light that's coming through. It's not bright, but there are these bioluminescent flowers and fungi that seem to be far ahead enough that you can see part of the way that you are going. And as you continue forward, parts of the stone and cave begin to be covered in bits of moss. Walls to have a saturation to it, as if there may be water flowing through or nearby, and that the air is a bit more humid. And as you make your way forward, keep going for another hour or two. It is a larger area with that there are a lot of ways to go, but I think following these little bioluminescent lights and having that dark vision, it isn't too much of a problem for you to figure out the right direction. And in the distance, you see some dim light that appears to be some sort of village or possibly even like a small town that you see light coming from, and you are surprised to see that kind of settlement deeper in the Underdark. Usually those kind of settlements are set up by people from the surface that come down, but it is a surprise to see, especially if they are from the Underdark, something so organized.
Cool. So this is pretty neat, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And she kind of like nods her head as I think she's finally like, you can see her face in the Underdark. She like, her neck is out completely. She's like squinting her eyes.
So it's still hard to see for her down here, even though it's a little bit more lit up.
It is, yeah. I think that, she's able to see like the little lights.
Yeah.
And being able to see like more lights in the distance has definitely given her a little bit of a goal now, as now she's looking towards that. But she's still kind of looking around. It is not I would say it's still pretty dark, as the bioluminescent little things don't give off too much light. I mean, like, they are bright themselves, but they don't give off much of a radius of light.
Gotcha.
And
all right, we're
go ahead.
Gonna approach.
Sure. As you make your way towards this town, you notice that maybe within, not even too far from it, but a lot of the ground itself tends to pick up with more moss and mushrooms growing out of the ground, things like that. And a lot of the lights here seem to be coming from similar bioluminescent plants, but they are much larger. And there are homes that are built out of stone and wood, surprisingly, down here. And even some that are these larger even plants and fungi that have been either hollowed out, or they use the cap of the mushroom to be like a roof and then build things around it to kind of enclose themselves underneath. It is this, strange little organic town that has taken refuge underneath the Underdark. As you make your way even closer, about maybe 50 feet before the moss and mushrooms and things start to pick up, you notice that in the air are these tiny little specks. Make a investigation check for me.
All right. 10 plus 2, 12.
12. With a 12, you're not quite sure what they could be. Possibly pollen or something like that. But pollen's more with like plants, so you're not quite sure yourself. But you kind of continue forward. There doesn't seem to be like an issue or anything with them. Doesn't seem to be affecting anybody. And as you look around the town, there are actually quite a lot of mycoids walking around. Some of them wear these, some of them don't have any clothes, as they are just complete mushroom people. Some of them are wearing these larger, like robes, or what's the right word? The thing that, loincloths, things like that, that, yeah. Some other people might wear. And there are some larger, quote-unquote, buildings that might be a little bit of more of note. But as you are making your way through, make another perception check for me.
16 plus 3, 19.
19. As you're making your way through the town, you scan the area looking for Todd, and as you look around, you see a small little mushroom man walking through a couple of the buildings. In his hand is in a paper bag, just a few loaves of bread, and he is, just making his way down an alleyway that you can see. It's not like he's about to turn the corner, but you can see it fairly well.
Okay. I'm gonna try to just quickly kind of get close to him. Do I notice if the Mycoids are responding to the fact that I am here, or that Sue and I are here?
I think that as you kind of, approach the town a little bit more and you maybe even start to head towards Todd's direction, some of the Mycoids kind of look your way, but they don't look at you too differently than they would other Mycoids. It's not like they are like, whoa, a person. They're just like, oh, like they understand that there's just like two other people there walking past, so it's not like you're invisible to them. Yeah. But they're not like, there is no facial reaction. There is no immediate look of concern or surprise. They just almost just acknowledge that you are here and just kind of move on with whatever they're doing. Some of them are building, some of them are weirdly planting, and other ones are, some of them are just running around carrying things. I shared with you some Mycoid art, and I actually love, there is this little Mycoid dog type thing that straight up just looks like just a Mycoid, but it's on 4 legs and it's small and it has this big mushroom cap head. There's definitely a couple of those running around, and some smaller Mycoids are kind of chasing them around. But it is weird. It is very quiet because no one is speaking out loud or anything. Nothing is necessarily happening, except once you start to get a bit closer into town and you get within maybe 20 or 30 feet of some of these Mycoids, as they start walking by, all of a sudden, as if you had muted a entire village, everything comes on. And in your head, you hear the talking and the commerce of an entire town.
Oh, geez. I put my hand to my ear. Just, weird just with how weird that felt.
Yeah, it's not a loud, you just all of a sudden were teleported into the middle of, a city. But it is just now all of a sudden you can hear people talking in the background. And you can hear things being said. Nothing of too much value, oh, how you doing? General chat. But there is this strange radius around them. And as you are looking at some of these Mycoids, you can actually see on their bodies, all of them are slowly releasing this weird mist or this strange kind of gaseous thing coming off of them. And at an immediate glance, those things flowing off of them are those little specks that you saw floating around the town.
That's what I was going to guess.
And as you make your way over down the alley, it looks as if Todd he makes his way towards a curtain that seems to be hanging down from a larger mushroom that is covered in what looks like smaller little bioluminescent mushrooms. It isn't one of the bigger or more pristine ones. It just looks like, there's just a curtain that has been attached there. It's being hung by weighted down rocks on top of the mushroom. And he kind of looks around for a moment. He doesn't notice you. And you have a moment if you wanted to stop him, or if you wanted to see if he goes in or what he does.
I'm gonna just follow him, stay close.
Yeah, sure. He goes inside the, he opens up the little curtain, and inside, based on the size of the mushroom, you wouldn't guess the interior is more than a 10 by 10 kind of room. He just, kind of ducks inside under the curtain.
Cool. I'm gonna approach and I'm gonna try to knock on the outside, like next to the curtain so that he can hear?
Sure, I think it's a little hard to find something to knock on. I think a lot of things here are a bit humid. There is the curtains, and a lot of the floor is either covered with, moss. So you maybe find like a more clear patch of stone, and you give a knock. And you dunk, dunk, dunk. And you hear a voice on the other side. 1 second!
Oh, sure. No rush.
The curtain opens a little bit, and you see Todd.
Wait.
Yeah.
Walsh, are you making these people talk like Toad?
You think Todd would be Toad?
Walsh?
And so he opens up the curtain, and you can see himself there, and past him you can see another mycoid, quite a bit bigger than him, but more so like a more humanoid size, that has a larger mushroom cap that is a bit longer, and the eyes themselves seem to be on the stem of the mushroom. And Todd is like, "Hello, can I help you?"
Hello.
Hello.
I had a weird question.
Sure.
Would you mind if I came in?
Of course, come on in.
I enter?
Yeah, you come on in, you kind of open the curtain for a moment. It's a smaller kind of abode. There are some blankets and things. There really isn't much that a mycoid really needs.
Right.
Bread.
I find a blanket and I sit down kind of cross-legged on a blanket.
Yeah, sure. I think Sue kind of looks around and sees what you do, so she copies and sits down. She is she's very wide-eyed at the whole situation, all of these mushroom people, and I think all of the voices in her head.
Very disorienting.
Not disorienting, but very huh? A little bit like an animal, that was behind me. Where the fuck did that come from? Because there's not an immediate distinguishable direction that it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And Todd doesn't really sit down because he's almost eye level with you now, but the other mushroom man is sitting there with his back to the larger mushroom house stem, and he goes, "Oh, hello."
Hi. So this might be a little bit weird, but I overheard a conversation that Todd, that you were having with with Church, the bread guy.
Oh, I love Church. He makes the best bread in the world.
Yeah, it's really good bread. I can't believe that you're doing this right now to me, Walsh. That was in Maia's voice, not my voice, but they're not that different. So I heard you mention, or at least Church mentioned something about a lycanthropy cure.
I think that as you say that, the other mushroom guy, you've immediately caught his interest. And Todd goes, "Oh yeah, I was talking to Church about that. I mean, I didn't know the full story, but a few decades ago, some people came by and they were cat people, but they didn't want to be cat people.
Yeah.
And so they got I'm not that old. Pronder?" And the other mushroom guy, he said Pronder, which you can only assume is the other mushroom guy's name.
Okay, all right.
And he turns his head and, gets up a little bit and moves a little bit closer. "Hello, I apologize for Todd. He is a little young, but..."
Hey, he seems like a fun guy.
As you say that, he has taken a piece of the bread and he just has held it up to his face, and it is just slowly being absorbed into his face.
All right, I'll have to let Church know about that.
And Pronder is "But you're interested in the story of the Were-Tigers?"
You could say interested, yeah.
All right, hold on.
Okay, hold on. I have a question for you real quick.
Me or Pronder?
Pronder.
Yes.
Are you any sort of hunter?
No, not if you're looking for that sort of thing.
Okay. Because I ran into one of those once. Like a were-tiger hunter. Everyone thought she was crazy.
Oh my, a Were-Tiger hunter?
Yeah.
Why would anyone want to kill such a hero?
A hero, you say?
Yeah, hold on, follow me.
Okay,
And
alright.
Todd just sits down and just starts like absorbing more bread into his face. And Todd leads you out of the curtain. Pronder leads you out of the curtain and towards one of the larger buildings that are in this little mycoid town. And it almost feels a little churchy. Like there is a courtyard outside of it where there are little stumps and rocks that different mycoids could sit down at. And there's a few other mycoids around. One of them seems to be a much, much older mycoid that is a bit hunched over and looks to be looking over the grounds. And Pronder leads you over to one of the stone walls, and there are drawings on the wall. And you see this illustration of what looks like not poorly drawn, but very simplistic, a town. And you see humanoid looking people with big bulbous heads, like or larger hats that you can only assume are the mushroom people. And above that are these like weird squid-like things. And Pronder says, well, this is a story from a few decades ago, and I was only a child then, but I'm, you look like you're not too much from around here, but mycoids can live pretty long. I mean, even the elder over there, he is even over 1,000 years old. And the elder, huh? And he's like, nothing. Okay. And he just kind of keeps going on his way. He's kind of just like feeling the wall in it like a weird like old person kind of way where they're not like, they look like they're doing something, but they don't really look like they're doing anything.
Mm.
And Pronder looks to the drawings, and there's more drawings past this one, but he says, a while back, the Illithid, or as they're sometimes known on the surface, Mind Flayers, they had taken over a large portion of the Underdark. And a lot of species, like more blood and tissue ones like you two, they had captured and turned into, creatures to spawn more of their kin from. But us mycoids, we have no brain to feast on, we have no blood, so instead of feeding on us, we became their slaves. And once a little bit after the Underdark was opened to this new surface, 4 women had come down. They were different races and different people, but they all suffered from the same ailment. They turned into, when night struck, they turned into these cat-like people. And when they had seen our predicament, they had fought the Mind Flayers for us and freed us from their rule. And there are pictures, of course, to follow this, and there's another one of like 4 kind of cat people fighting a bunch of the squid people with the mushroom people behind them, and then another one of the cat people and the mushroom people celebrating. And this story had been one that we had shared from generation to generation, and it's very important with us. But it had turned out that these 4 women, they weren't in, their adventure didn't end with us. What they had come down to look for was vampires.
Oh. Why vampires?
Well, from my understanding, and he kind of turns away from the drawings, from my understanding, once the Underdark was opened to the surface, a lot of creatures and beings that aren't too keen on the sunlight or prefer to even stay underground had found their way into the Underdark. And these 4 women, they went and the vampires had come down here almost first when the Underdark opened. And they had no qualms with us, as, like I said, we don't even have blood to suck. But they went on and I think they've fought some of the drow and things, but my history with them is not too extensive. But those four women, they went and they spoke with the vampires, and they even returned. And they had said that originally their theory was that while a vampire's bite can mean the death for a lycanthrope, they wondered if that immediate connection could lead to some kind of cure. And they wanted to speak with the vampires and learn something to cure them of their ailment. So they left with an answer for their ailment, and they continued onwards where they came. But in honor of those four Were-Tiger warriors, we built these. And Pronder leads you around the corner of the building, and there are four wooden statues of kind of they're covered in moss, and there's not like immediate detail, but you do see like cat-like features. Some of them have like claws and ears and tails, and they seem to all four kind of be in these dynamic poses. And in honor of those four, we tell the story of them fighting the Mind Flayers in mimed plays that we taught and are performed by children. It's actually a really good show, but I guess that's a little off topic.
Maia's kind of like she was listening to what he was saying, but she's kind of looking at the statues right now.
Yeah,
and just kind of like taking it all in, and hasn't really like seen anyone necessarily display this so positively before. Even with the ones that she encountered last year, she definitely like that the adrenaline was so high and the situation was so tense for her that she didn't really get a chance to really get what they were about. But now that she's seen these statues the way that they are, she's starting to feel a little bit different.
One of the statues actually range slightly in size. One of them seems just more humanoid. Another one almost seems kind of mid-transformation with claws and, like gaining in size. And then two of them are larger in full, were-cat form. And both of them, their designs, they're more general kind of...
Is it like a fucking Animorphs book cover?
Thank God, no. You know what? It really should be, but I don't want to do that. I thought about it just for a moment, but and they're kind of back to back as if like fighting off something. And the ones that are starting to transform or have transformed, the wood and bark that they're covered in has these like small painted spots all over them. And, there are parts that have moss as if to indicate, the clothing that they wore, and they stand upon a pedestal in the middle of, this other courtyard on the other side of the building. But, so, if you were interested, I don't usually get to be able to tell people this honor, but when I was a kid, I was one of the first kids to be able to perform the play.
Oh yeah?
I was in the first production of the Were-Tiger Women.
Cool. Who'd you play?
I played the Elder Brain. The big leader of of the Mind Flayers.
Villain roles are always so fun.
It really is. Since then my theater degree hasn't really taken off. But I'm figuring it out. Yeah, so they spoke with the vampires, and I guess they weren't too bad. I'm surprised the Were-Tiger women didn't kill the vampires, but
or vice versa.
I guess so. But
so
I think they would have been stronger.
Then would you say that the Were-Tiger women would have been stronger?
Oh, definitely. I mean,
okay.
I haven't faced a vampire myself, but in terms of strength, those
just raw strength.
Yes, they're incredible.
Oh yeah, muscles get really big.
Yes, they were incredible.
Yeah. Do you know if vampires generally like were-tigers?
Oh, I'm not too sure. I mean, the vampires
Okay.
down here have been pretty new. I know that they took up residence in what used to be a smaller drow kind of minor kingdom. That I say minor, not like they mined resources, but it was smaller,
Uh-huh.
that kind of thing. And they kind of took over that area, and they have been leading the area for a while. They don't bother us very much, but I know that they hunt other species for food because they drink blood. But we ain't got none, so I guess they don't bother us.
Cool. All right. That's good to know. I really appreciate your talk, Pronder.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, if you're more interested, I do remember some verses from the show. And actually our elder was the first director, and the elder comes, he kind of pulls him over, and the elder's like, "Oh, hello, Pronder. Yes, you were interested in the story of the Were-Tiger women?"
Already been told.
Why?
But
they were the
I
fiercest
appreciate it.
warriors I've ever seen. See,
They
we
look
used to
they look pretty great.
And he goes over to the paintings on the wall. See, we used to be enslaved by
I know.
the Mind Flayers.
Elder, sir,
Yeah.
sir. I was already told. I appreciate you though.
Oh,
You run a lovely community.
thank you. I appreciate you too, traveler.
All right, I think I'm going to go. I'm gonna go talk to some vampires then.
And Pronder kind of steps up. Please allow me to try to at least help escort you there.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. Could always use a guiding hand in a place I'm unfamiliar with.
And then the elder steps up as if like a little socially unaware, as if more like, I'm about to, talk good of Pronder as if you said no, even though you very clearly said yes. And the elder's like, "No, I'm telling you, Pronder, he has wandered far among the Underdark, and he has seen many of things looking for an audience."
I am taking him with me.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wait, are you taking Pronder?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll probably be back soon.
I tell you, I've never seen such a talented bard. You should take him with you.
Oh, a bard. Okay, all right. Let's do it.
Good. I'm glad I could convince you.
Yep. You did a bang up job.
Good. And then he goes to walk away. He accidentally bumps into the wall, and then he walks in a different direction.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
And Pronder, not even thinking that that's a weird thing. Pronder's like, he is our most powerful mycoid. He is our leader. I love him.
Really? All right. Okay, so I guess Misu and Pronder are now off.
Yeah, sure. At the statues, make one more perception check for me.
Okay. Nat 20.
Natural 20. So, in this courtyard, there are flowers and very pretty mushrooms that have been centered around it. There are smaller offerings and toys and things, or little statues that are put at the bottom of it. And you take another closer look at the statues themselves, and you realize that those kind of painted on spots are the design of the fur itself. And they weren't necessarily had the same tiger print as you do, but they most definitely were given the same kind of ailments, most likely having a almost cheetah print design. And as you look down at the foundation of the statue that you were looking at, there are 4 names, you can only assume, written in Undercommon.
What are the names?
You read Undercommon, right?
Undercommon?
I think whatever the fucking Underdark language is.
Okay, I assume I have that I write or that I can read Common.
Oh, okay.
But I assume that this made up language that I did not have on my character sheet, Maia can also figure out.
I think Undercommon is a real D&D language, but
oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Their names were Ella, Strut, Jess Begun and Amy Goss.
Okay, I saw that you were typing those out.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Cool. Yeah, Maya's like definitely takes a longer look at these before she leaves, just because this positivity around them is really interesting to her, and the fact that like one thing that she was thinking about was the fact that was just the fact that hey, they were able to do these cool things and still be looking for a cure.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really hanging in her mind right now.
As you take that final look at these statues, Pronder looks to you like, well, if you're ready to go, I can lead you out of town whenever you're ready.
Yeah, ready to go. And I say bye to Toad or Todd.
Mm-hmm.
Who's?
Yeah, you guys actually go back to the little mushroom hut, and Pronder sticks his head in. Hey, I'm gonna be gone for a bit. Can you just keep the place clean at least? And Todd's like, yeah, whatever. And then is just rubbing the bread on his face. And Pronder kind of like closes it and starts walking out like, ugh. I mean, living with a roommate is cheaper, but sometimes I wish I had my own place.
It's not so bad. And I look at Sue.
Sue has like covered her head in little mushrooms.
No, but I see what you mean though.
She has two bioluminescent ones like over her eyes, and she looks at you. And then
looking good, Sue.
And then Pronder's like, "Oh, don't do that. It's fine. I'm just gonna take those and put those back in the dirt."
Oh,
and then he covers them with the dirt a little bit.
What are they?
Children.
Oh, okay. Did not know that's how that worked.
It's okay. They're still growing, and they'll still keep growing.
That's good.
I mean, we're not like, and you guys are kind of walking and talking as you leave. We're not like too gung-ho. Like, we're pretty relaxed about it. If someone happens to step on one, it's not the end of the world. They're more like possible people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get that. I understand that.
It takes a long time for one to grow and reach a point to where they are able to kind of become more of a living thing than just mushrooms, but even though we still respect them as some kind of ancestor, I mean, they do we not avoid the moss that we walk on or the grass that I've heard rumors of on the surface.
Yeah, we do kind of walk on grass a lot. That's kind of just how it happens.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. They'll come back, but it's all good. I am curious. What is the interest in the Were-Tiger warriors?
Can you keep a secret since we're like going to be traveling together now? I think this might be important to know. What time of day is it?
I would say it's like afternoon.
Afternoon. Okay.
Yeah.
What time of the month is it in comparison to the full moon?
You know what? I want to roll D&D random, and then I'm just gonna roll a D30.
Okay.
Because I can do that. It's a 4. It is a waning moon coming near a full moon.
Okay, so it's close to being full?
Yes.
Or is it about half full?
It is like 3/4 full.
3/4 full, okay.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've dealt with moon terminology.
All good. And or who knows, maybe I got it wrong and somebody will correct me.
Yeah, it's okay. 3/4 moon about to be full moon is about what we need to know.
Yes.
All right, so there's a non-0% chance that when it hits nighttime, and I whisper this to him, I might be a were-tiger. I'm not related to them. Just want that to be clear.
I mean, I wouldn't think all were-tigers are related, but
true. And I kind of like got this in a not so great way. So like, please don't like put me on a pedestal or anything. I'm just trying to like figure out how to get rid of this.
I think like he is very like he now all of a sudden he's like a fan, like meeting a hero. He is like, oh, okay, I will try to contain myself. And he's just
it's
like,
nothing. It is nothing special.
Are you sure? That's pretty cool.
It's not that cool.
And then
I laugh nervously.
And then Sue kind of repeats, "It's pretty cool."
Thank you, Sue.
I will. Sorry, I will try to contain my. I'll try to contain my excitement.
Okay, and don't expect it either, because if I can keep it under control, I will.
Yes.
All right. So, which way to these vampires that can help me get this cure?
They are just north of here, actually. They, there were a few different settlements of, different, species and things. I do know that the drow and the vampires were either sharing accommodations or maybe the vampires just took over. I really don't know. But much farther west are the Mind Flayers, and much more east are the Duergar, and some even, I forget the technical name, but they are the Dark Gnomes even. And then much more north are the more aquatic creatures, such as in my notes, I put them down as the Troglodytes, scary fish people, and the Kuatoa, ugly fish people.
Rude.
But yes, they're those are more north. So they're a little more in the center, which I think is why they've been able to keep an eye and be a bit more of the power around here. But they haven't really ordered anything, but as far as I know, they've kind of come in and just kind of took over things.
Gotcha.
And I think that it is a few hours of a walk. And he leads you through. There are some caverns and rifts in the ground that he has to lead you around. And he leads you through some side caves that you might not have noticed. Each place that he goes that maybe is a little bit dark, he actually puts his hand out and puts his palm on the wall and puts down a little bioluminescent mushroom and kind of just keeps walking.
Did you just give birth?
I mean, yes and no. It's more like
more like you, I guess, laid an egg.
I was just thinking of your weird biology and how there is nothing I could compare it to.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, you could, how, I guess fish lay eggs, but they still need to be fertilized? I don't know how it works. I understand the idea of what you just did. Let's just keep going. We don't need to discuss it more.
Sure. I mean, if you want to get real technical, I am constantly giving birth.
And is that the reason that I can hear you right now?
Yes.
Those are the spores
coming out of those are the spores coming out of my back that both of you are breathing in.
Please end this conversation immediately.
Yes. And he keeps walking. And eventually you see a very large castle in the background. And it almost seems fitting that both drow and vampires have the same, very similar kind of gothic aesthetic. As you see this larger manor that, there are smaller buildings around it, but from what you can see, much of it looks a bit abandoned, a little bit run down. Even the manor itself looks a bit broken from what you can see from a far distance. Pronder's like, well, there it is. You know what? I was gonna stop, but you know what? I haven't been on an adventure like this in a long time, so I think I might join you. Let's head in and see. Let's talk to some I've never met a vampire.
Yeah, this'll be a fun time.
And Sue kind of repeats I've never met a vampire, and Sue actually, as they're walking, you guys are walking towards the castle. Sue is looking at Pronder's arm, where there are little mushrooms kind of growing, and Sue pokes one, and it pushes down a button, and Pronder kind of notices and is just kind of looks down at his arm and back at Sue and then holds up his arm. And as they're walking, Sue just keeps pressing a bunch of mushrooms like a keyboard and is just playing with them. And as you guys make your way towards the manor, give me a perception check.
Okay. By the way, I realized that I forgot to add my proficiency bonus to, or my extra proficiency bonus, so If you hear a different number, that's why.
All good.
It's a 6 plus 4, 10.
10. 10, you look up and down the castle, and from what you can see, it seems almost empty. It doesn't seem like there has been much going on here at just a glance, but then Sue actually looks up because of her passive perception, and she repeats, "I've never seen a vampire." And she points up towards one of the windows as if to indicate that she saw something for a moment.
Mm.
And
okay. I was just gonna say I look where she pointed.
yeah, I think whatever was there might be gone at this point. Then, as you guys are making your way a little closer, Pronder actually looks down for a moment as a lot of the ground itself now has become much more stone, and he, kind of bends down to look at the ground for a moment, and he picks up a little dirt with his fingers, and he says, "There are tracks here." And you can kind of see it as he points it out, but there's a little bit of dirt that seems to be tracked in, and as he points it out, you can see there's like multiple footprints, almost like a large group, or like just a lot of people have either entered in and out, or the same person pacing back and forth. But Pronder's like, "I think a large group has entered here. I'd be very, very careful."
Sounds good.
All right. You guys make your way towards the door, and now I think you get a better look at the manor. I think a lot of the Underdark is very, not much life, but as you make your way closer, there are some plants around, and you see a lot of vines that are covered in thorns that seem to be around the manor, but they're dying, and they don't look like they have been taken care of in a while. And otherwise, the manor itself is probably about 3 stories in some places, but there are other parts of it that look like it would be an entire area. Like, for example, the right side of the manor looks like it could possibly be like a small church or steeple built into the manor that you would guess the ceiling is as tall as, it is. It isn't multiple floors. And possibly there are other parts of the manor like that as well. And you make your way to the door.
All right, I am very nervous, but I'm going to and this almost goes beyond everything that Maia has been trained to do, and she's just going to knock on the front door.
Sure, you give it a knock, and there's a awkward beat for a moment, and the door very slowly begins to open with a creak, and just... The inside lobby is empty.
I'm going to take a step in and I'm going to say, "Hello?"
Your voice echoes through for a moment. There is no one immediately there. The place itself looks pretty broken. In a lot of places, there are some paintings that hang on the walls. Some appear to be drow in nature, some of families, some of single people portraits that have been ripped down or pulled down, and parts of the walls look broken, and parts of the floors even. Actually, most of the lobby floor is covered in this very, very large carpet that seems very nice. Give me a perception check.
Okay. 18 plus 4, 22.
18 plus 4. As you are, you're stepping in, you're looking around, there are 2 staircases that lead upwards up to a second floor hallway that seems to go in 2 different directions. That upstairs hallway is almost like a balcony looking down into the lobby. There is a very broken chandelier hanging above you. There is 2 doors to the left. There are further doors below that balcony that lead further into the manor. And there's a set of double doors to your right that you can assume leads to that steeple area. As you are stepping in, the floor gives this weird kind of creak. You're unsure how maybe thin the floor may be, or if it is fragile. Maybe if you were in your Were-Tiger form, you might have to worry. But as it is right now, it seems a bit thin and almost like a bit patchy in places. Like you can hear it squeaker almost like metal in places as you step. And I think with that,
All right.
Sue and Pronder also enter as well.
Cool. Yeah, just some like light walking. Still not necessarily like trying to sneak, but just trying to see what's going on here.
Okay. I think as you look around to it, make a general investigation check for me.
That is not a good roll. That's a 7.
Okay. With that, you look around and it looks like maybe some sort of fight happened here. There was some sort of back and forth or something, because this place looks, like it's gone to hell. Parts of the wall ripped down. All of those paintings are like ripped or have fallen down. A lot of the doors, they're kind of there, but they look busted in places. The wood is rotting. It's like even the chandelier got broken. And as you guys are walking into the center of the lobby, the front door behind you shuts on its own with a boom.
Oop.
And then I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Shit. Okay. Thankfully, I'm pretty good at these. Not when I roll a crit 1, though. I need to keep my mouth shut.
The carpet below you give out as the floor of the main lobby seems to split in two, and the carpet itself pulls to one side, and all three of you suddenly find yourselves falling into the basement, or what you would assume is the basement, as you hit a concrete floor and take 5 points of damage. And
okay.
All of a sudden, this eerie, quiet area has become incredibly loud and crowded, as you find yourself in this concrete pit that is, as you look around, must be some kind of like larger dungeon or cage. And looking around, it is surrounded by humanoid figures. Almost all of them are wearing strange robes or cowls, with most of them having collars up, except instead of expecting white pale faces and fangs, you see dark blue faces with black shark-like eyes and small tendrils and tentacles sticking out where their nose and mouth should be. They are surrounding the cage, and in a language you don't understand, many of them are almost cheering that you have fallen in, and they are getting very excited and riled up, as if this is almost some kind of strange show that they are watching as they surround the cage. And in this dungeon, you see two things in the room with you, in this cage. There is what seems to be dead pig that looks as if it has been either, you would have guessed maybe been there for a while, but it looks like much of the meat and blood has been sucked out and it is almost skeletal. And next to it on the floor is a humanoid male that you can see that looks almost maybe elven or half elven. He is without a shirt, and he has messy hair and facial hair as if he has been in here for a bit, and his skin is very pale. And the crowd is just cheering in this alien language of gibberish, as you have gone from this haunted house lobby to WWE cage fight.
Uh-huh.
And the three of you kind of, get your bearings for a moment as you see the individual stand up in the cage, and you can see that his eyes are completely white, no pupil or iris, and he has some dried blood scattered on his jaw and his neck a bit. You can see actually 2 bite marks in his neck that may have been there for a while, and 2 fangs open with his mouth. And with that, I need you to roll initiative.
Cool. This is nothing like what I was expecting to happen right now. 19 for initiative.
19. All right. Give me 1 second. You're up first.
All right. So we are in a cage, correct?
Yes. It's a pretty large cage. It's actually probably 20 feet by 20 feet. And it is, I would say it's square. And around it, it is a much larger basement. It looks like there are other cages in there as well that are a bit smaller. Some of them have, a skeleton or some blankets and rags in them. But it seems as if this castle has been taken by whatever Mind Flayers are surrounding you now.
Gotcha. Okay. Can I try to get a... This is gonna seem weird, and you can tell me if this is in action or not. Can I try to roll insight on the guy that is in the cage with us?
Go ahead, roll insight.
I just want to I want to figure out if he seems like he is doing this because he likes it, or doing this because he's forced to. That is a natural 20.
Natural 20. Perfect. With that,
plus 4 if that matters.
Oh, plus 4. You can see immediately on his face that he does not want to be here. It seems as if he is being barely kept alive. For what you can assume, he almost looks like a little embarrassed, making you think that it is a strange kind of entertainment. And I think even with a natural 20, you can get the sense that even though he's standing up he does not want to fight, he is very, very hesitant. I think seeing you kind of look at him and kind of trying to read him, he almost gives... You see it with an insight, but you can see he's glad to see that, and you're not just immediately fighting him.
Yeah. I have an idea on what I want to do next, if you'll let me.
Go right ahead.
I want to try to, and especially now noticing that he's kind of off guard, I want to try to quickly dash to him, knock his weapon out, and pin him to the ground. I know there's a lot of things.
Okay,
but...
he doesn't have a weapon, he just has his claws, or his vampiric claws. I think the dash is no problem. Give me a strength check for the
strength
tackle.
check for... Okay. 10 plus 3, 13.
All right, that is a 9. So you bring him right to the ground, and with that, I think the audience cheers a bit.
Can I still? I may be stretching my turn a bit, but I know talking is a free action.
Yes, go right ahead.
So I'm gonna get close to his ear and just say, "Play along, struggle if you need to, but play along."
He immediately likes your idea, and he says, I can regenerate if you need to, so make it look convincing.
Okay.
With that, it's actually going to be Sue's turn. Sue, you have pinned him to the ground, and you now have this, plan to fake this fight. And as he is saying, make it look convincing, almost out of nowhere, Sue has come up, and she just starts beating him in the head with her quarterstaff. Although she isn't very strong, so it's just dunk, dunk. He's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. I'm going to let her do it. Why would I stop her?
And then I think Pronder is going to give you a Bardic Inspiration.
All right.
That creature gains 1 Bardic Inspiration, a d6. Once within the next 10 minutes, you can roll the die and add the number rolled to any one ability check, attack roll, or saving throw. So you have a d6 Bardic Inspiration that you can use whenever you want.
Sweet.
Pronder actually comes over and he just starts doing this interpretive dance. And he using almost the spores in the air around to move like an airbender or waterbender in the air. And it fills you with inspiration.
All right. I'm here for it.
Yeah, with that it is going to be the vampire's turn. He is or the vampiric character's turn. He then is going to try to make a strength check to almost try to roll over and try to get himself on top. It's going to be a contended strength check with a 15.
All right. I got a 16. 13
oh shit. Yeah, he tries to roll you over, and that is no good. So the other thing that he is going to try, he actually gears his fangs up for a moment to bite, and he makes it look like he is going to try to bite you, but as if you are too hard to hit. He makes it look he makes it look all right, with a deception check of 12. He tries his best. He tries his best. And with that, now you are up.
Okay. I'm going to take my dagger, and I'm gonna slash him, I guess across the elbow to try to chop his arm off.
Oh, Jesus. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, he said he could regenerate. I don't know if I'm reading the mention of regeneration wrong here, but we want to make it look convincing, right?
Sure. Roll to attack.
All right. Ooh. So that is a 4. I'm using dagger, so that's plus dexterity. That's 4 plus 3, so I guess 11.
11 does not hit.
Didn't think so.
Oh, actually, a roll with advantage because you haven't pinned.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I rolled a 4 again.
Yeah, so with that, you try to cut his arm off with the dagger. Make an insight check for me.
Okay. That's a 16 plus 4, 20.
You almost like scare him for a moment. He's like, my whole arm, like as if to say with his eyes, like, my whole damn arm.
Okay. All right. I'll know. I kind of like try to go back at him. It's like, sorry.
Sue's gonna keep smacking him, and Pronder reaches for his waist for a moment, and it looks like he's grabbing like a small mushroom on his waist. But he grabs the stem, and as he is pulling out the mushroom, the stem just continues and continues until it is a rapier.
Okay.
And he is going to attempt to stab at our vampiric friend here. That is with advantage. That still doesn't hit, as in the struggle he is trying to like find purchase in the guy, and Pronder accidentally stabs the ground with it. And with that, he is going to try to swipe with his claws. It's going to be 2 attacks. That's one was a natural 1. That was a 3 and a 17.
All right. I think the 17 will hit. Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, he manages to swipe you with one of his claws for 6 damage.
All right.
That's pretty much his turn, as he can't move or do much else.
Cool. All right. I'm gonna try to I guess swipe at his thigh this time. Not try to chop it off, but just like see if I can get some blood out.
Sure.
Really make it look convincing.
Sure. We'll roll with advantage.
Still with my dagger. That's a crit already.
That is all right. All right. Roll and double the dice for damage.
Okay, so I'm using my dagger, so this isn't a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Although I did have advantage on this.
Yep. So you would be able to include your sneak attack damage,
Sneak
attack damage. Those dice are also doubled.
Okay. So it's 3d6, and then I multiply it by 2 rather than roll 6d6, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so my dagger does 1, but then I get to add 1, 3, so that's 5 total, and 6. So 11, so I do 22 points of damage.
Okay.
I hit a fucking vein.
Yeah, you hit a fucking vein. You send the knife into his leg, and he lets out this almost like inhuman roar, and you pull the dagger down his leg, then hitting his kneecap, and the blood just starts pouring out everywhere, and the whole crowd is like, wow! The whole crowd just loves it. You see him like go pale for a moment, like, oh shit! But he takes it.
Yeah, that was even more than I expected to do. I'm also surprised.
Yeah, he takes it. I think Sue is going to try a different approach. She tries to cast, or you've seen it before. She casts Toll the Dead. You know it. It causes this like ringing in his ears, and he winces for a moment as if he's hearing something very painful. And he takes. I have real dice, and I have the fucking dice parser in front of me. So it's like, why didn't he roll for that? And he takes another 9 damage.
All right.
And with that, he's looking pretty rough. And okay. Pronder is going to take another stab with that sword. That is going to be 12 and a 17. Both hit, because this guy is very naked. Oh, shit. That is for 13 damage.
Ooh.
With that, he is looking like very, like, extremely bloodied.
All right. I'm going to kind of like... I want to know first. Is there? Oh no, wait. It's his turn first.
Yeah. I think on his
then
turn, he's going to just pretend to fucking die.
Okay. I was even going to, like, my next turn, like, really make a show that I'm pretending to snap his neck.
Okay. Should I make performance or deception? Guess deception. So that is...
I don't know. This is what I would. Game-wise, I would say, hey, whatever he's better at. Real life, I would say, I mean, this is WWE.
Yeah, so I'm going to go performance.
So,
he rolled a
yeah.
15. He has +4 charisma. So that is a 19. I think with the Pronder's second, like, stab into him, he goes like... and then pretends to go limp and fall dead. And with that, his whole body goes limp, and the illithid all around begin to clap and cheer. And you see one illithid that looks a little bit different come up near the front of the cage, and they seem to be a bit larger, with a much larger, more bulbous Megamind style head. And it's funny I brought up
Megamind Flayer. Megamind Flayer.
Megamind Flayer. Oh my god. And because Megamind also, he's also wearing like a big black cowl.
Yeah.
With like the big collar.
Naturally.
That one is slow clapping very villainously as the rest of the crowd dies down. And you hear him, he is like, but you hear him telepathically like, excellent. 3 new playthings. This will be much more entertaining than that vampiric brat. But find something new for you tomorrow. For now, and then kind of gesturing to the vampire, enjoy your spoils. And
I'd prefer to do this alone. If that's all right. Do that alone, if that's all right.
I think the illithid pays no mind and begins to walk around the corner and up a set of stairs. And it's kind of weird because this is just like a normal ass fucking manor basement, but it was just filled to the brim with illithid. They all begin to kind of walk out one by one, and some of them are like throwing little snacks into the cages, like little crackers and pieces of bread, as if to just be taunting and just be assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they throw little like seeds and breads and things, and as they're walking out, and then Sue, like a fucking city pigeon, just starts like pecking them off the ground. And as the last one exits and then closes the basement, you hear the vampiric man go, "Oh shit! Oh my god!"
Cool. So that worked pretty well, right?
Yeah. Oh my god. Are you actually?
Sue, can you do something about him? Like help him out?
No, it's okay. And you see him as if almost every 6 seconds regaining 10 hit points as his leg begins to heal and the stab wounds in his chest begin to close up. And Pronder's like, wait, he's alive! Get him!
Nope, Pronder.
Huh?
We planned it. I planned this with him. He's fine. He's cool.
Oh, okay.
Chill.
Okay.
You are lucky that I happen to be an assassin and I know what kills and what doesn't kill.
I am very, very lucky. Not only for that, but the fact that someone else is here.
What the fuck is this place?
And he kind of sitting down, collecting his strength. My name is Isaac. I know I look it, but I'm not a full vampire.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you know about vampires?
Not a ton. I guess that it's kind of a curse that spreads. You can't go out in the sunlight. You need to feast on blood.
Yeah. And he kind of looks over to the pig and kind of back a little like, yeah. So when a vampire bites someone new, they become a vampire spawn. That's what I am.
Uh-huh.
And I followed, I guess, my master, the one who bit me here. And I don't know, do you know why the vampires even came down here in the first place? Kind of referring to the Underdark.
I was assuming it was just because it was a place to kind of be away from things, be away from the sun, be away from anyone trying to hunt you, all things like that.
Yeah, that's pretty much, you kind of nailed it on the head. or nailed it in the coffin. Never mind.
Nailed the cross. That's probably offensive. Nailed the stake.
That's okay.
We'll
and then
we'll move on from that.
So nailed the stake. Yeah. So the vampires came down here, and without much competition, they became pretty powerful down here. The drow definitely didn't stand a chance. And he almost looks kind of regretful, like as if he kind of regrets what he did. I wasn't in control, like I said, but I still don't like doing that. And they began to hunt the drow and the Duragar and even the Kuatoa to almost near extinction in this area. I mean, to them, it was like this, a playground of meat and blood just walking around. There wasn't anything that was really meant to fight a vampire down here. And Pronder kind of steps in, kind of like an invasive species, almost. And Isaac's like, that's actually a good kind of comparison. If the invasive, yeah, I guess so. But as they began to just hunt in excess and hunt for food that they didn't necessarily need, and they would feast on people and things that they didn't immediately need, and he kind of notices the mycoid, and I guess that, they didn't bother with you guys because, you didn't really have anything, but they hunted a lot of the other species to whatever they could in this cavernous area of the underground until they were almost out of food. So they decided to put together a hunting party, and they decided to go hunt the Mind Flayers, which, as you can see, didn't go very well.
No, clearly not.
I realized that they got their asses kicked when I got my, sentience back. Since when the the vampire that controls a vampire spawn, once they die, we're able to think for ourselves again. So that was nice, until I can only assume they ate the brains of the vampires that they took, learned about how the rest of the Underdark was pretty much for grabs, and came in here, and they killed whatever other vampire spawn they did. They left me around for entertainment.
So you're the only one left.
Yeah.
And do you have any idea where anyone else could be?
A lot of the vampires that I know either died fighting the Mind Flayers, or maybe they ran off. I think I evolve into a full-fledged vampire eventually.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now.
Cool. So it seems like we're all in like a weird situation of, what are we going to do right now, right?
Yeah. So I'm kind of looking around at the strange little party you've amassed.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Oh, they're here to help me. I wanted to talk to some vampires because I'm trying to figure out another whole deal related to lycanthropy. So I got something that I'm dealing with that you also seem to be dealing with, but different things. And I was hoping to find vampires because I heard that they might have something to do with curing this lycanthropy, but I don't think you know how to do that, do you? I give a smile oh, I really hope this is true.
I don't. The only thing I can think of, and this is jumping some things and assuming some things, but one of the vampires that was a part of the clan, his name was Garth, and he knew a lot of spells and incantations and rituals that a lot of other people or other spellcasters didn't. As much of it was darker or wild magic. He was kind of the spellcaster know-it-all of the party. Mm-hmm. He went with them to go fight the Mind Flayers. But the Mind Flayers have, from my understanding, a hive mind. If they ate the vampires' brains that knew that information...
Gotcha, okay.
Then they might know? Or at the very least, their elder brain might.
All right, that is kind of a bad situation for us.
That's the bad news. But
yep, because you should be dead, and I don't know if I want to deal with these freaks.
yeah, but about a week ago, there is a lot of fucking Mind Flayers here, and they have been coming in and out, bringing in new things in, and I had overheard that they were bringing a copy of the Elder Brain to here as a Mind Flayer outpost.
Sorry, a copy?
Yeah.
How does that work?
It's kind of like the Elder Brain makes a kid, because they choose one of the other Mind Flayers, at least one of the more like higher ranking ones, kind of like the dark and ugly guy you saw earlier, and they choose one of those assholes to evolve into an Elder Brain as well. And they don't, they all have this kind of hive connection. And he's a little like kind of thinking through his thoughts, like making sure it all makes sense, because he's not, a Mind Flayer expert. He's going off of what he kind of knows.
Right.
They're kind of like, they're all mentally connected through some hive mind and through this Elder Brain. But if they want to go about exploring and conquering and turning more people into Mind Flayers, then I would imagine more Mind Flayers would need more Elder Brains to connect to, and a bigger network of brains. So they take one of the high and mighty Mind Flayers, break them down to a brain, give them all the knowledge they have, and then put them in a different outpost.
Okay.
And I think that's also too, so in case like one Elder Brain goes down, they don't lose all of their information and all of the knowledge that they've amassed. Because
that makes sense. Okay. And then like Maia's putting her hands on her face, like, this is so much more complicated than I wanted it to be.
I think Pronder is like, don't worry. If anyone knows how an Elder Brain works, it is me.
Oh wait. Are you a hive mind too?
No, but I played the Elder Brain in our school play.
God, yes, that's right. Okay, that very, very well researched play. Yeah.
Yes.
That sounded more sarcastic than I wanted it to be.
Yes. The story of the Were-Tiger woman.
Yes. So you know what the brain is like.
Yes.
And you know that you kind of, I guess, how to access it, how to get the information. Definitely. I want you to know that.
Make an insight check.
Okay. Ooh, that's a 7. 3 + 4.
A mushroom face is hard to read.
Okay. I like that you said that and not like, oh no, he's totally serious. It's better. Okay, so, Pronder.
Yes.
I need you to know that right now we are in a cage, and we are going to be forced to fight to the death. If we get caught, and if they're feeling charitable and don't just kill us on the spot. With me?
Yeah.
We basically have one chance to get that information from the Elder Brain, and then get the fuck out of here.
That sounds good with me.
So are you totally sure?
I am.
That you know...
Yeah.
That you know about the Elder Brain.
Well, the Were-Tiger woman, when they fought the Mind Flayers, and then they interrogated the Mind Flayers, and so they shared what they knew.
All right. Okay. Fine. All right. We can do this. Shoot, what was the vampire's name again?
Isaac.
He
introduces himself a little bit better. My name is Isaac Killian. Did you
Isaac Killian? Cool.
Yeah. Did you say Were-Tiger women? And Pronder's like, yes. The story of 4 Were-Tiger women cursed with a cheetah-like lycanthropy that found themselves looking for a cure. Searching, they began asking the vampires. And Isaac's like, I remember that. Yeah, I remember them coming. I don't remember. I assume that's what you're also after. I don't know what advice they were given, and I wasn't under my own control at that time, but I do remember that, yeah. Huh.
Well then.
But yeah, sorry, that's not too important. I will say, though, I really need your guys' help. I am not... If I could get out of here and just leave, I would love that. But, you know what? Why is it with... Because you said you were in a similar boat with curses, and I'm assuming at this point maybe something to do with lycanthropy, but why do curses always have such weird, like, rules written around it? Like, so for example, you know like how vampires usually have, an association with coffins and things like that. Do you know why?
No, why?
It is, they have to stay near their own burial grounds.
Hmm.
And,
that's right. Yeah.
And a way that they can do that, if they don't have their own tomb or their own special little place, is they can actually take their coffin or something else equally with them. And me, I just fucking died. And they buried me. And I think kind of half-ass buried me. And then I rose. But I can't actually sleep unless I have the dirt that I was buried with. And I took that with me. It sounds stupid, but I carry a fucking big bag of dirt.
I mean, if you gotta do what you gotta do, like, I totally get that. No judgment here.
Yeah. I need to go find my big bag of dirt.
Do you have any fucking idea where it might be?
Maybe in some of the chambers upstairs. They could have moved that shit. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think they would even pay it that much mind. Thankfully, I don't think they'd be like, oh, weapons or armor, it doesn't seem like something that's like an important item. So thankfully, they probably didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
But
do you have some sort of like spirit connection with it?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I will say it's easier than some of the vampires who have to carry these huge coffins with them. But yeah, it's a weird rule that doesn't kill me, but I just can't sleep. And that doesn't sound like a big deal, but it gets to you after like a few nights.
Yeah. No, I understand that. I've had some sleepless nights for other reasons.
Yeah. I'm all for it, but if they brought the Elder Brain in here in this manner, I don't really know where they might have. I can lead you guys around, but I don't really know.
Cool. All right, so plan: break out of the cage, get the dirt, find the Elder Brain to learn about this shit. Get the fuck out before we die.
Yeah,
that sound like a plan for everyone.
That's great to me. And Pronder's like, this would be most excellent. And
all right,
kind of repeating you, Stu is like, great plan.
All right. Anyone strong enough to break a cage?
No. Says Isaac. And Pronder is kind of like scratching his like mushroom cap. He's not really sure what to do. And Sue just like spits in both hands, rubs them together, and then goes over to like the bars of the cage. She's going to roll to try to split the bars apart. That is a 3 that she rolled.
Okay.
And she is just
I was expecting this to happen, but all right. What time of day is it?
Well, we started in the afternoon at the Mushroom Town, and then I said it took a few hours to get...
A few hours.
Yeah. So probably coming up at around, like, 5 or 6.
Okay. Maia is, at this point, she knows that they have to break out. She's going to...
Well,
to...
Oh, sure. I was going to say make a perception check for me, in case you want to, like, look for a lock or anything.
I think that I even think that she is so like focused on this whole mission that even though it's like, oh, this is we're stuck here, we need to get out. The best way to do that is for me to just bulk up and fucking smash this shit.
Yeah, I get you.
All right, so Maia's gonna kind of like close her eyes, take in a few deep breaths, and then she's going to. It's weird. She kind of thinks about the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And even though she can't actually see it because we're deep underground, it's more the time of day. It's not the moon itself. Like, you don't need to be able to see the moon in order for this to happen.
Yeah.
Because it's all about the time of day. Like, if you're fucking indoors or underground all the time, you're still gonna fucking have the curse.
Mm-hmm.
And the tiger part of her, you know how, like, and this might be like Owl House spoilers for those who haven't heard it. Ida with the owl creature in her head.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of how when I was listening back to this, I was like, oh, this is just like that moment where, like, she's almost conversing with the tiger that's in her head, saying, I need you to come out now. And she, even though she's just standing perfectly fine, she doubles over forward, starts growling, and then her muscles start to bulk up. The orange and black fur just starts growing out. It's become a little bit faster, and especially when she's not trying to resist it, it comes out super fast. The shoes that she was wearing get fucking destroyed, which she's used to at this point. She buys really, really cheap shoes. So they get destroyed. Parts of her clothes tear, which again, she almost like has clothes that are designed to do that at this point. And she is on all fours, kind of panting a bit, and then she stands up, kind of like takes a few steps back, and still on all fours, lunges, almost pouncing into the cage to try to break it open.
Sure. Roll a strength check for me with advantage.
All right. Is that because the cage can't move? Or
no, just yeah. The cage is. Can I have advantage to stab the ground because the ground is prone? I think just for me, just suiting up. I want to give it advantage.
First one was a 5, but the second one was an 18 plus 3, 21.
Yeah, I think with that, how do you want that to look? Like you just grab 2 and you just.
No, I think it's a metal cage.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, then I think I just like I was thinking of like pouncing through it, but that I guess that's more for a wooden cage.
I think there's wood aspects to it.
But like, would it be like if I were to throw my full body at it, would it break?
I think with a strength throw like that, yeah.
Okay.
It might cause some noise though, but yeah.
That's fine. I think it's just like we want to get the fuck out of here, so let's do that. So I'm gonna.
Yeah, sure. I think with that, not only do you break through some of the wooden aspects of it, especially the parts that were maybe, between the walls that were keeping them together, the hinges and things like that, but even like a few bars come out of place and clang to the ground. Isaac, he was sitting down and he's kind of sat back a little bit onto his like hands and he's like a little surprised, but not like he's just like a little like, whoa. And Sue and Pronder are both like hugging each other with like wide, excited eyes. You don't know if Sue is just copying Pronder or Sue is just like, oh, kitty.
Yeah. What do you think? And I open my arms out, almost like, I don't know. I was thinking like a fucking like Marvel superhero would do it, just cocky as shit. Just like, what do you think?
I think Isaac's like, I like orange is a good color on you.
Oh, thanks.
We made a little noise, but I think if we can make our way upstairs, Isaac goes to run over to a window in the basement that from the cage you guys were in, he couldn't get like a good look. And he just looks out and he says, it looks like the Illithid some of them are out of the house. I think they're kind of making some rounds. I know they had been talking about doing like, usually if they notice like someone in the distance, they all come inside real quick and they try to hide. But I think that they kind of don't expect anyone else for the day.
Okay.
So I think a lot of them have kind of scattered about. Honestly, it seems like a lot of them are in weirdly a similar place that the vampires were in, where the vampires hunted all this food, and now the Illithid who kind of, feast on the brains, they don't have something as readily available to eat.
Yeah.
So a lot of them have had to scatter about and search through the Underdark to find anybody and anything that they can. So that's good for us. They sent out, a lot of scouts.
Cool. All right. So, brain, dirt. Let's get going.
Yeah, that sounds good. And, they all kind of follow. And the basement itself, you get like a little bit better of a look of it. There was that skeleton and there were, some rags in the other ones. It doesn't look like there's really much going on down here. There's some buckets and some ropes. But this was most likely, just to like hold some prisoners, things like that. It even looks like this larger cage was made of smaller cages, which is why it has wooden elements. And it was built to be this larger kind of fight cave. And the floor itself is still open, actually, into the main lobby. Just the ceiling is open, but it is much too high to reach from inside the cage. So as you make your way out, there is one staircase that leads upwards up to the first floor.
Sorry, repeat that. Repeat the two options. Or the options.
There is the floor you fell through. That is the ceiling of the cage. That's pretty high. If you were to jump, you wouldn't necessarily reach it, but if you were to work together, you might reach part of the carpet that's hanging, or you can go up the stairs. That leads to the first floor.
I mean, I say we go up the stairs.
Yeah, that seems like the easiest option. And the whole group is like, yeah, I think, yeah, all right. And you guys make your way up the stairs, and the stairs kind of creak a little bit under the Were-Tiger form, but you kind of take it slow and carefully. And as you make your way up to the door, you are like, okay. Let's actually make a perception check for me.
Okay. I like rolling dice.
Trying to be careful of any mind flayers out and about.
Yeah, really, really don't want to fucking deal with those. That's going to be a 10 plus 4, 14.
Door actually opens into part of the lobby. It is one of the doors that is underneath the second floor balcony. And as you are looking out for a moment, you actually look through the keyhole in the door because it's just an old ass door. There's even like little breaks in the door you can even see through, and stay careful. You see two Mind Flayers walking through the lobby. They're a little far from the hole, so they don't immediately see it. You hear two of them talking, and it seems as if they are arguing, and one of them kind of gestures to the big open fucking hole in the ground. And the other one's like, whatever. And then, just through body language, and then goes up to part of the wall where a crooked painting was on, and pulls the painting down. And there is like a new made hole in the wall that has this big crank in it. And he just starts like cranking it, and slowly the hole starts to come up from both sides. And the other one that's cranking is almost complaining, like, why aren't you helping? And the other one's like, just do your job. And it just keeps cranking and cranking until the carpet and floor is back into place. It's a surprising mechanism that it kind of works pretty well.
Yeah.
But they probably
seems like it.
You don't know if they put this together, or maybe this was something the vampires did, or maybe even the drow had this weird, contingency plan just in case. But they crank it up without really getting too close to the hole. Like the crank's probably about like 30 feet away. Okay. So they didn't like look down to check or anything, and then they put the painting back up. With that, another Mind Flare comes in from one of the doors to the left, and it is wearing a apron and has a big pot in its hand, and it's mixing something, and it yells something at the two of them, and the two of them complain back, and one of them goes into the kitchen and the other one goes upstairs.
Let's I guess like try to sneak through. I figure upstairs might be the best way to go, to try to find dirt.
Isaac is like, yeah, well, upstairs is where a lot of the quarters were. You do have, I guess, the drow, church. That's a part of it, but we really didn't go in there because, that's because vampire rules. And I think there's a library that's upstairs too. Mm-hmm. Down here, there's the kitchen, there's a dining room, there's even a ballroom.
So, to me, it makes sense that if they had the Elder Brain, it would want to be in a library around a lot of books. Does that check out for you, Pronder?
Pronder, I was just about to say, Pronder is like, that makes perfect sense.
Okay.
I was the second, and pointing at Isaac, the second you said library, I was like, Elder Brain, 100%.
Okay, so we should go there second, just because, dirt, they're not going to care about. Brain harmed, they're going to care a big deal about. So we'll leave the library for later.
All right, sounds good. And, well, both, and Isaac's like, well, both are on the second floor, so as long as we are careful, we should be able to do both.
Great. Okay. What were the other rooms on the second floor?
Some other bedrooms, some other quarters. There's probably a bathroom on each floor. The library was upstairs, maybe like a study too. Mm-hmm. And, weird like rich people rooms that like have names for some reason, like this is the drawing room. And then downstairs was a lot of like the kitchen, the dining room, ballroom, a lot of like more business style stuff, while upstairs is a lot of bedrooms and more personal things.
Gotcha. That reminds me in the fucking in the last Brooklyn Nine-Nine season, they went to Captain Holt's cabin and there were like 3 different reading rooms. And it was like, oh, and this is the TV room. Well, it was until we took the TV out, so now it's just another reading room.
Amazing. There's definitely like 2 reading rooms in this building. Sure. I won't tell you where.
Okay. All right. So, what color was the sack that your dirt was in?
It was just a brown leather and leather bound bag.
Cool. So really hard to find in dark rooms. Got it.
Yeah. We're gonna do great. I assume you have dark vision too.
Yeah.
So we'll be all right.
Sue doesn't, but rest of us should be fine.
Sue lights a torch, and then all 3 of you are like, no. Even Pronder's a little like getting a little bit away from the fire.
Doesn't like fire.
No.
Yeah.
But even looking around the lobby, there is like a dim light coming through. Like a lot of the ceiling is broken too, so light is coming in different sections, Mm-hmm. Go ahead and roll a stealth check for me.
Okay. I do have disadvantage on this since I am in tiger form.
Yes. And then I also want an investigation check too.
Cool. All right. And for those at home, if you did not listen to last year, this disadvantage on stealth and general dexterity rolls, this is something that I did for the character. It is not like an actual mechanic.
Mm-hmm. It is a fun thing we did for the character.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah?
Nat 1 for stealth.
Nat 1. Amazing. All right.
A 14 for investigation, though.
14 for investigation. I think investigation was more for me, or maybe survival would have been good too for that.
Okay.
But really just kind of figuring out maybe which staircase is the best one to go up, what's the best route, like what stairs are the squeakiest, or where to step and where to not. But as you are, and I'm kind of just using your stealth rolls for the party here.
Yeah.
As you are making your way into the lobby and you close the basement door behind you. There are a couple other doors that are immediately to your left and right that would lead backwards, taking further down on the first floor. But you make your way around to the stairs. And as you are walking through as your Were-Tiger form, you get to a part of the floor that was a little bit not as strong, and your foot accidentally goes through.
Shit!
Make a strength check for me.
That is 13 plus 3.
Alright, with that you're able to get your foot out, no problem. But you hear a clamoring in the kitchen. Like somebody puts a couple pots down for a second. Mm-hmm. And you have a moment. I mean, whatever you want to do. If you wanted to try to make your way into another room, you could. But or try to do something else. You have a 1 round before someone enters.
How close is the door open? Do I see an open door?
They're kind of ajar. They're not good enough doors that maybe they close the best anymore. But I will say that underneath that balcony there is a hallway that goes left and right. There in the lobby, there's like 3 doors that face the front door. The left one was the one that led to the basement. There was a middle door and a right door.
All right. Panicking, I think Maia just runs through the middle door.
Sure. I think everybody just immediately jumps in to follow. And with that, I guess make a stealth check again.
Okay. That's an 18, and that is an 11 plus 9.
Oh, all right. Yeah, with that, you're able to make your way through the door with the party and close the door behind you so that it looks the same as it did. And from an audience perspective, right as you make the door the way it is, that one Mind Flayer with the pot comes back in and looks around for a moment. Let's see. I'm gonna have a roll perception check to see if it notices the hole in the floor. Because to it, this whole place is just kind of falling apart.
Right.
It does not.
Cool.
And it just kind of looks around for a moment, just assuming that, the place is just falling apart, and makes its way, back into the kitchen. And you see before you, there is a rather large dining room. It's actually pretty nicely set up. There is a very long table. It's actually almost humorous. It looks like, on Thanksgiving, if the families get together and they put tables together to make one really long table.
Yeah.
They've kind of done that in this big dining room, as if all the Mind Flayers just wanted to eat dinner together. And there are all of these plates set up. There's nothing on them right now. A lot of it is kind of covered in dust in places. This place isn't as destroyed as the lobby. There are paintings on the wall. There is a very large mirror that covers one side of it. And, there are also unlit candles, candelabras sitting in the middle of the table. Just a lot of utensils and knives and forks and dishes and things. There is a door that, directional wise would probably lead into the room to the right. And then there is another door that would lead further into the manor. There is a shelf that seems to have a variety of different baubles and souvenirs or things just on them that could be for decoration, but that's kind of what they look like they're there for. And yeah, I think that's mostly it. A lot of the chairs look kind of dusty and dirty. And yeah.
All right. Do you see your dirt?
No. I don't think it'd be in the kitchen either if I were to guess.
Yeah, probably not. Seems unsanitary.
Yeah.
I think we just keep going through. We can't go back the way we came because we don't want to tip anyone off. But I think we just keep going through, go through these rooms, try to find shit as best we can.
There is a side staircase. If we keep going to the, I guess it would be the east or the east part of the mansion, and that would be more to the right. That gets pretty close to the steeple. So I might have to be careful, but I think we could be good.
Yeah,
we'll try that way.
Let's do that. Let's go that way.
Okay. Isaac kind of leads you guys over to the room to the right, and in there is what you would assume is a reading room. And there are some seating, a kind of medieval couch there. There are shelves that have, assorted books on them, a couple other paintings that are, just kind of landscape for decoration. In the center of the room on the floor is a lion that has been skinned. And like a rich person rug.
Like a rug, yeah.
Sits there. It's like the scar.
Right, yeah, from Hercules.
Yeah, like that one. And that is sitting in the middle of the room. There are 2 more doors that go to the right, and another one that goes farther back in the mansion. And I think Isaac leads you through that room, and you make your way through one of the doors that leads into a hallway. And as you guys are making your way down the hallway, there is 2 doors to the left, and then a kind of parallel from the second door on the left is another door to the right, and a door at the end of the hallway. The hallway has, just little shelves that have little baubles and things on it, little glasses and a vase here and there. There's a little side table that has a couple things on it. And as you guys are making your way forward, make a perception check for me.
Okay, 17 plus 4, 21.
You hear a very slight movement come from the first door on your left.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like something was shuffled around for a moment, and you point it out, and you guys all stop for a moment, and Isaac's like, "That's the bathroom."
Do you need to go?
No, I'm just saying, like, something came from there.
Can vampires go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, just curious. Sorry. Keep talking.
But Mind Flayers don't.
Oh. I'm not going in there to smell if he, actually did anything or not.
I was in a fucking cage for, and he's trying to be, quiet. Why would I be up here using the whatever. Do you want me to check it out?
Sure. See what's in there. See what happened.
Isaac opens the door slightly to take a look inside. He's not as stealthy as you are. It's open a few inches. And with that, all of a sudden, a arrow flies through his chest.
Oh.
And he is pinned to the other side of the hallway.
Is the door to the bathroom still open?
Yeah, the door to the bathroom is open.
I try to look in there.
And you look in there, you notice that the bathroom is definitely a mess. No one has been in here in a long time. And the window has been broken from the outside, as there is glass on the floor. And it seems, as if someone or something broke in. The window was over a tub that has muddy footprints that have been stepped through. And you see a person there, and on their chest, almost like a little...
Oh!
Bjorn.
Yes!
No. Wrong.
No?
It is not Ace and Peabody.
Oh.
Almost like that, but instead it is more of a satchel. Holding in that satchel is Todd, the mycoid.
Uh-huh.
And holding a small crossbow is Rose.
Seeing Rose, I fucking freeze.
I think she immediately freezes too. She was looking at Isaac with this immediate bloodlust, and then looks to you like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And I think she says that too. "What the fuck are you doing here?"
I could ask you the same thing.
And then Isaac's like, "Can someone tell me what's going on?"
All right, so the small one, he's Ponder's friend. He's cool.
Hello. Hey, Ponder.
I thought I told you to stay home.
Yeah, but then this other lady came by, and she was looking, because she also heard, well, she was actually looking for vampires specifically, and she knew that there was some in the Underdark, so, and I knew you like to wander around and you leave those stupid mushrooms everywhere, so I thought I'd just take her and follow.
So I'm looking for a cure for this. Why are you here?
I am here. And she walks up to Isaac, who is still pinned to the wall, and holds a dagger to him. I'm here for him. Well, not him specifically, just specifically I need a vampire.
Oh, okay, what for?
She kind of sighs as if she was gonna try to do this as stealthily and quickly as possible, but now do you remember my Uncle Seal had this plan to, at least one of the things he wanted to do was to look into our Feywild origins.
Yeah, that rings a bell.
And we had been talking about not only visiting the Feywild, but possibly making a doorway to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard spells like Plane Shift, or things like that, where you can visit, but those aren't 100% concrete, and they don't always work all the time. I wanted to construct a portal that would open and lead to the Feywild. It would only work under certain conditions under the moon, but it would work nonetheless. And that's what they want to look into. And for that, I need... And she kind of stops for a moment, as if her confidence has kind of went away for a moment. I need him.
Do you need his blood? Because he's got a lot of blood. And I point to my lower body, which is definitely covered in his blood.
And Isaac's still feeling a little weak from that, by the way.
Yeah, but you'll get it back. You'll be fine.
Yeah. And Rose is I don't know exactly. I know that it needs something from a vampire, something from their body, something of their essence.
Gotcha.
But I don't know the full ritual.
All right.
So I planned to come in, break in, kill a vampire, and just take one home with me.
Well, there's some some bad news on that front. He's the only vampire, and he's not even a full vampire.
Okay.
This place has been overrun by Mind Flayers.
I saw some of those walking around.
Yeah, no, they're kind of like in charge now, and Isaac's the only vampire left, and you probably shouldn't kill him.
I think Isaac is like, you're looking for like a ritual that could do that. That could like open to the Feywild. And Rose is like, yes, I am. Kind of holding the dagger up closer. Maia, you're looking for like a ritual too, right? Maybe Garth also knew about something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good chance. We're looking for different things, but if the vampires have this type of knowledge, then Rose, we're trying to find the elder brain of the Mind Flayers and try to get this information from them as like soon as we can. But like as soon as we get that, we gotta like get out of here, and we gotta get this guy's dirt first. It's complicated.
Why does it? I run into you and everything always becomes more complicated.
Yeah, true. I haven't done
Okay.
anything that complicated in a year, but these two situations where we have met each other, very complicated.
Okay. Hello, Sue. Todd, based on your reaction, I assume that's Pronder. Pronder's like, hello. And Rose is like, okay. And then Rose kind of pulls the arrow out, and Isaac's like, thanks. And Rose is like, I'm not letting you out of my sight. And if there is no ritual here, I'm taking you with me. And Isaac's like, oh okay. Let's just keep going, and we'll be out of here before we know it. Things got a little weird in the lobby. So right now we're heading towards the steeple, and we're gonna make our way up. And then we should be on the second floor, and we can head towards the bedroom area, all right? And that's where we'll find the dirt. That's where we'll find the library, where the Elder Brain is. Kind of looking to Pronder, and Pronder's like, that is where the Elder Brain is for sure. Okay, see? It's not a big deal, and we'll all be good.
Well, it'll all be fine.
Rose takes down the dagger. All right. But Todd stays with me right here, where he'll be safe.
Sure.
I feel like a baby!
God damn it.
With that, Rose and Todd have joined the party.
All right, this is becoming quite a weird crew.
Yeah. Quite the crew.
Yeah.
All right. Give me another perception check. Just be
Always.
careful, Mind Flayers.
We'll give you a perception check. Nat 20.
Natural 20.
I am getting a lot of naturals on both sides today, and I'm not even using Dice Parser. I'm using a real D20.
Matt, there's other numbers between 1 and 20.
I tell that to my D20. Tell that to the die.
With that, the end of the hallway enters into a second hallway. And I'll use the 20 for a little bit. And Isaac explains that the side doors on the right actually enter into the steeple. And if we keep going forward, you'll actually enter a entrance behind the steeple that, let's say, priests would use and things like that. Isaac's not totally sure about how that works, like if that's part of the church technically. So he's just kind of like, this is my only option. I'm just kind of see how this goes. And as you open the door to the back of the church, you see in the little like priest quarters where, you know, the priest would, I guess, chill, smoke a blunt before giving the ceremony. At one of the desks is a single Mind Flayer. It is the head Mind Flayer, who was wearing like the big dark cowl.
Yeah.
And he is currently looking through some of the tomes that were back here and seems a bit distracted at the desk.
All right. So he's there. Do we see the stairs, or is that somewhere else?
Yeah, it looks as if the stairs are on the other side of the room and they actually spiral upward, like it's a little tight, but they go upwards.
I am going to need to make the best stealth check I've ever fucking made.
Are you just trying to stealth roll to like get by, or are you gonna like jump them?
No, get by and get up the stairs. I don't know if I'm gonna. Do I want a conflict right now? I mean, I have.
Do I want to cause problems on purpose?
No. Well, I'm thinking. I was like, well, I don't want to. I don't want to deal with these fuckers. But I am a trained assassin. Sue and Pronder are amazing support. Todd is a wild card. Isaac is a brawler, and Rose is a very capable fighter as well. So I think we can take him, actually. I want to try to make a sneak attack, I guess.
Sure. Roll a stealth check for me.
Yep. Which I get disadvantage on. This is going to be a 5 plus 9, 14.
14? I still think 14's enough for this guy.
Okay.
And you are able to make your way up to him. Go ahead and roll with advantage to hit.
All right, so I'm going to use my claws, slash down his back.
Yeah, sure.
All right, and I get advantage since he hasn't moved yet.
Yes.
So I get advantage. I think I'm just going to use one of my claws.
Sure.
Rather than roll for, like, both of them. I just don't want to roll, like, a ton of shit. That's going to be a 12 plus 4. Do I add proficiency on that for attacking?
Yeah.
Plus
I
3.
know previously you didn't, but I feel like a year has passed, and I feel like you become more proficient with your claws.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay. All right. Well, that's a 19 then.
Yeah, that definitely hits. Roll damage for me with
All
your
right.
sneak attack.
Cool. So claws do 1d8 plus my dexterity slashing. Isn't this what people turn into D&D podcasts for? Just all the numbers that people say?
Yeah, people love numbers.
True.
You know, that's why we need to jump from Monster of the Week to Dungeons and Dragons, because people just love numbers.
There's just more numbers. All right, so it's going to be 12 plus 1, 13, plus 6, 19, plus 4, 23, from fucking raking my claws down his back.
How do you want to do this?
I want to sneak up on him, which is difficult for me, but I want to sneak up on him. What I want to do is I want to come up on all fours, so that way when I lunge up to get my claws in the back, they're already they already want to come down themselves, and then me being able to just kind of rake them down quickly to just really sink them into his back will have the best effect here.
Sure. As you do that, because he is sitting in an old wooden chair, you actually not only break through the chair in an all-out poof, but rake down his back, and you see this bluish purplish blood just spill out as you hear this. And he goes quiet as he falls to the floor in this broken chair.
Hey.
Who you saying hey to?
The guy I just murdered, I guess.
He's dead.
I kill him?
Yeah.
Shit. He did not have a lot of hit points.
I only gave him 20 hit points.
Oh my god. That was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
Hey, you're an assassin. Don't. Hey,
Who's saying this?
Me.
Okay.
Walsh.
No, Maia says that out loud.
Okay.
That was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
Pronder's that is because you are a unstoppable Were-Tiger woman.
I guess you are right.
And Isaac's all right, that was pretty easy. And he enters the room, and all of a sudden his skin starts to smoke up.
Oh shit, we're in a church, aren't we?
And he's like, oh shit, fuck, just follow me. And he starts to fucking dash for the stairs.
Okay, we'll follow him up.
Yeah, he's leaving this little smoke trail behind him as he runs through the room. And he then
Maia goes last so that she doesn't block the stairs for anyone.
Mm-hmm. And he makes it into the stairwell, and he stops smoldering once he gets into the stairwell, and he kind of pats himself down. He's like, "Ow, oh my god, this day has been so painful."
Why did you move into a place that has a church in it?
I didn't choose to move here.
Fair.
I think for them it was just in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
And it was this big manor, and they're all like, we're fancy, we want big mansion. Fucking vampires. And he starts to head up the stairs. So it's a good thing he didn't sneak through, or else he would have been fucking
Yeah.
They all make their way up the stairs. You are the last one. Just because you're big.
Yeah.
It's not really that acrobatic, but make an acrobatics check for me.
That's only a 10.
10? It definitely takes some squeezing.
Uh-huh.
And as the rest of the party's moving up the stairs, there's kind of an awkward pause as you just hear, they hear behind them, as you're like stuck for a moment.
Hold on.
You kind of have to then move around like your big muscles for a second.
Yeah.
And then you're able to kind of squeeze through. And it is one of those like weird kind of like church spiral staircases that's kind of small. And it actually makes its way up to the roof of the church. And Isaac's like, okay, very roundabout way, but, and you guys are on the roof, and he kind of points out, we can make our way across the roof and go into the adjacent window over there. And then we'll be on the second floor.
Cool.
Make another acrobatics check.
Yeah, this seems pretty acrobatic. That is a 10 plus 4, 14.
14, nice. I'm kind of just making a general one for the party.
Okay.
So no bonuses or anything. That's a 10. That's the average.
Yeah.
I think that some of the other party members, like Pronder and Sue, have a little bit of trouble. But I think especially Rose is definitely helping them.
Yeah.
And they make their way across. Isaac is definitely a bit careful. He kind of takes it slowly, but you have no problem, and you're there to help them if they need it. Isaac actually, because he is like barefoot, he like does not have much on him. He definitely needs a little bit of the help, so he holds on to you for it.
Yeah.
And you guys make your way to the window where it is unlocked. Make another perception check for me.
22.
22. With that, you see a large room that actually the window itself, it's not locked. I'm going to change this. It's not locked, but it has these wooden bars over it. Mm-hmm. But they have been there for so long that, and the air down here is kind of humid enough that they're pretty easy to just take off without needing like a strength check or anything.
Cool.
But you have absolutely no problem. And looking into the room, it is what would be maybe a larger master kind of bedroom, but there's no bed in the room. Surrounding the room are coffins that are either on the floor or are leaning against the wall. And Isaac's like, this would be the room where I would have left it.
Awesome. Do you see it anywhere?
I think as you guys make your way in with that same perception check, I think you help look around, and it's a pretty empty room, so it's not too much of a problem. Isaac actually goes up to one of the coffins and opens it for a moment, and it's like dusty and empty, and he's kind of coughs for a moment. He's like, wait, hold on, not that one. I hid it in one of these, hoping they don't, even if they kind of go through it, it might just look like a bag of nothing. But, so it's not immediately out.
Yeah.
And he opens another one, and in there is this, satchel, and he puts it around his back. Oh, thank you. Oh my god.
You got your dirt.
I got my dirt. Or as they used to tease me, they called it my body pillow.
I mean, you did draw a girl on your bag.
I did. I did draw it out of dirt. He's kind of embarrassed. Yeah. Just gonna put that away. And Rose is like, why did you need... Whatever. We're on the second floor. Where's this library? And Isaac's like, it would be 2 doors down to the right. And make another perception check for me as you are helming this, going through here.
15 plus 4, 19.
19. There is one mind flare kind of walking down the hallway, and you watch as it goes down the hallway, and it actually enters the room that Isaac was talking about, and you wait a moment, to see if anything happens, and then the mind flare exits, and it actually came in with a tray. It wasn't immediately visible because he was just kind of holding it to his side, but it exits with the tray holding it butler style, and it is just holding a bunch of like dirty dishes and bowls. With that, the mind flare then goes to then take the stairs back down into the lobby. And with that, then it disappears into the kitchen.
Cool, yeah. All right, let's try to get to the library.
Sure. Make another stealth check for me.
3 plus 9, 12.
12?
Listen, I get disadvantage, but my stealth skill is just so good that it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah. I think that you make your way into the room, but as you are closing the door behind you, it makes a sound, and all of a sudden you hear like a little bit of mind flare talk from him, like, and you hear footsteps coming. You look in the room, and the library's, it's a decent size. Bookshelves line all of the walls. There's like a smaller little staircase that actually leads into this little like reading balcony up there. Almost looks like a little cozy, but in the center of the room is what almost looks like, you can best describe it like made out of stone, like this big like hot tub, and there are little steps that go up as if to step into the hot tub, but it is currently covered with a cloak or a sheet, except underneath the sheet you can see that there is something inside that is rather large and round, that sits in the center of it, almost like a big balloon underneath, or pillow.
Okay.
But somebody is coming back to the room.
Shit, hide.
Alright, roll a stealth check for me.
19.
19. With that, you actually... Let me think about the room for a moment, because I think that there's probably, like some other looser bookshelves, kind of like, when you're walking through a library and there's different aisles.
Mm-hmm.
So some people hide behind those. I think Sue, Rose, and Todd go up to the balcony to go hide up there. Pronder actually hides behind one of the bookshelves. Isaac kind of surprises you for a moment. He sticks his hands and feet to the wall and almost Spider-Man style climbs up it onto the ceiling. And I think with that, you are able to... I think with your bigger form, hiding behind a bookshelf might be the best idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where
Unless you can think of something.
No, that's where I'm
okay.
gonna do. Try to hide behind a bookshelf.
And then with that, you hear the footsteps approach and the door opens. And a Mind Flayer steps in and kind of looks around for a moment. And then, lifts the sheet for a little bit. And from where you are, you can slightly see this slight bluish light coming from underneath that almost lights up the Mind Flayer's face for a moment. And the Mind Flayer speaks in some language you don't understand, but the big brain kind of telepathically almost emits this message that you all hear. And it's, no, I'm fine. Why, did you hear something? From the Mind Flayer. And he's like, no, I didn't move. I was sleeping. Can I get some more chips? And he's like, all right, thank you. And then he puts the sheet back down, and the Mind Flayer leaves and closes the door.
So, was that the thing underneath that was talking?
That was the thing underneath that was talking.
Okay.
And with that, the Mind Flayer has left the room.
How close is it to the bookshelf?
I would say it's about maybe 20 feet from it.
Cool. I was about to say, hey, we should just push a bookshelf on it, but then I remember that we need to get information from it. So, that might not be the best. Oh my god, fucking... Oh, I just had a great idea.
Sure.
Sue?
Yeah?
Do you think you could mimic Mind Flayer's speech somehow?
I think you've gotten the sense from Sue she can repeat phrases and things like that, but...
She wouldn't be able to, say things in Mind Flayer.
No.
Okay. Alright. Shit.
I mean, it seemed like it spoke common.
Right. So I'm not necessarily worried about it being able to understand us. I wanted to try to disguise us as one of the Mind Flayers talking to it.
I think Pronder actually says, I could just try to disguise you, but I don't know if that'll help with, trying to speak. Wait, now that I think about it, it kind of talks telepathically, so would it, and it doesn't really have eyes to look at a disguise.
No. Okay, yeah, let's just, approach it, I suppose.
Okay. And
how
I think
do you approach an elder brain?
All right. See, okay. I'm not saying I told you so, but I did say it was in the library. Now, elder brains are extremely strong, and they command their forces, and they are extremely intelligent as well.
Right.
So we have to be very, very careful. Pronder actually goes up to it, and Pronder's like, wait a minute, I can't talk out loud. Give me 1 second. And he kind of sends some of his spores out near the brain. It's like, wait, the elder brain doesn't breathe. Okay. Sue, could I use you as like a soundboard? And Sue's like, sure. And, he telepathically talks through Sue, and Sue like a little speaker for him. Hello, Elder Brain. We are honored to be in your knowledgeable presence. We come from afar asking for your grace and your knowledge. And the Elder Brain, actually, the sheet itself lifts up, and you see the Elder Brain has some tendrils sticking out of it. And it uses one of its tendrils to lift up the sheet and pull it back. And the Elder Brain waits for a moment, and you all hear telepathically, do you have my chips?
Should have gotten some chips. No, we do not have your chips. That was the last guy.
Oh, okay. Okay, what's up?
Hey, do you know much about vampiric rituals?
Yeah, I think... Hold on, let me... Yeah, I think we ate a guy, like, a while back who knew a lot about that.
Do you know one? Do you know one about like connecting to the Feywild? That's the one that we really want to know about.
Oh, yeah, that's no problem. It seems as if this one would need to be casted as a ritual, and Rose starts, like, taking notes, and you need to create the doorway. You're gonna need a forked metal rod worth at least 250 gold pieces, attuned to a particular plane of existence, in this place, the Feywild. You need the hair of a lycanthrope, hard to come by, vampiric flesh, ooh, that one's also a hard one, and a stone doorway made of sarsen sandstone. I know that's specific, but I think that's pretty common. Yeah, and I think there's ways to make it easier or harder if you want.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it will stay open for a bit, like we won't have to worry about it closing at all.
Yeah, I do believe that it opens, like, for, like, a week, like, before and after the full moon.
Cool.
But yeah, man, you little Mind Flayers are curious about the Feywild.
Hey, I mean, we were hungry for knowledge, right?
Yep. You know what? That is a great spirit.
That's the Mind Flayer slogan.
You know what? Next time the high priest Mind Flayer, you know, the guy I promoted, he's been kind of pissing me off.
Yeah.
But if he becomes a brain like me, I think I'm gonna promote you next.
Oh,
and I don't just say that to everybody.
Wow, that sounds great. I'm honored.
Yeah, no problem. Anything else?
One more question, yeah. How does you mentioned lycanthropy in the last thing? How do you cure that?
Oh yeah. I mean, usually lycanthropy could be cured with a remove curse spell, but sometimes it's really hard to do that, and like sometimes it doesn't work. So sometimes, like, I know certain types of lycanthropy, like usually the wolf one will get rid of, but that cat one I think has some trouble. So what you need is a vial of vampiric blood.
Okay.
You need a passion bell, which is a flower of the Feywild. You need a diamond worth at least 1,000 gold pieces, which the spell consumes. And I think that's it. I mean, it's cast as a ritual.
Yeah.
And then there's things that'll like help it works. And the ritual will only work if the subject wants to be rid of the curse. So, like, if you capture a lycanthrope, and then they're like, "No, don't change me," and then you try to change them, then it won't work.
Gotcha. Cool. Perfect. I don't care what they say about big giant brains. Y'all are all right. You're all right.
Hey, what do they say about big giant brains?
Oh, you know. You've been there. You're a giant brain.
That is right. I do know.
You do know. You know everything.
I do know. I think Pronder is like, this was supposed to be the big scary elder brain. All right. Well, anything else I can do for you guys?
No, that's all. I will make extra sure that your chips get here right away. What flavor was that again?
Could you make a perception check for me?
Sure.
Well, they have to be made by hand because, like, it's kind of hard. But I ask for them just slathered in vinegar, and I like some bones kind of sprinkled on top.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a seasoning. That's pretty good.
Nice. I got a 15.
With that, you do notice 15 was the DC. You hear the Mind Flare coming back to the room.
All right. You know what? They're gonna be right here. We're gonna get out of here. It was nice seeing you, boss.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
And I'm serious about that promotion. I don't just say that to everybody.
Awesome. Great. We're gonna put the cover back down and then try to hide. Maia's gonna try to hide behind the bookshelf again.
Sure. Make another stealth check for me.
23.
23 with that. Everybody almost like on cue goes back to their places, and the Mind Flare comes in with this, you know, in this clay bowl. It looks like a bunch of cut up potatoes, and he speaks like, "Well, like, I'm here with your chips," and the Elder Brain's like, "Oh, finally! Just pour those right into my pool. Oh, those are delicious. These are so good. You know, I'm not too big on the current, you know, high priest. You know, you keep making chips like this, I think you might be next in line for promotion. And I don't just say that to everybody."
Cool.
And the Mind Flayer kind of bows, like, respectively, and then closes the sheet once more, and then takes the bowl with him.
All right, I think our goal now is just get the fuck out of the house.
Everybody kind of nods.
And then as soon as the Mind Flayer leaves, I wait a few seconds to like let him get away from the door, and then I think we leave and try to just bolt for the stairs, bolt for the exit.
Sure, you just running?
I'm just running.
Sure. I think that you kind of make that clear, like, we are running for the door. And you make a dash for it. Make a athletics check for me.
Okay.
That is strength.
That's an 18 plus 3.
Damn! So with a 21, you open up the room, and then you hear, like, the Elder Brain, like, huh? What's going on? And the Mind Flayer who had taken the bowl is, like, down the hall, and is like, intruders! The prisoners! Wait, you don't... Why am I... He screams something in his language. Mm-hmm. That might be something like that.
Nice save.
And with that, you are at the top of the balcony. I'm still keeping your roll in mind, but you're at the top of the balcony, and there are 2 sets of stairs, one to your left and one to your right. Which one do you want? Do you want to run down one of those? You jumping down? What are you doing?
I don't know. But Maia's gonna jump.
Sure. I think with that, you jump right down.
Put another hole in the floor. I don't fucking care.
Rose actually follows. She takes Todd out of her little, like, satchel, and then holds him in her arm as she jumps from the second floor, and almost like you see her kind of like letting go for a moment as she's falling, or letting go mentally as she's falling from the second floor. She turns into a second Were-Tiger on the first floor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with like the party you have amassed, everyone, Sue, Isaac, Pronder, they're running for the front door, and some Mind Flayers have begun to come out, and I think you guys just make a run for it. Rose sideswipes one of them with her claw, and you guys bust through the front door.
Sweet.
Does your speed increase once you are in a Were-Tiger form, or is it still 30 feet?
No, it's still 30 feet.
Okay. As you are running and you exit the mansion, because Mind Flayers have, spread out from the house and have moved around in different directions, make a perception check for me.
17.
Oh, okay. You can tell that based on the path that Pronder led you through to get here, that you're probably going to have to get past at least 3 Mind Flayers to get back to that area, as, they might try to cut you off. And it seems as if there are, and you actually hear them running far behind you, coming from around the house, is 2 creatures that have 4 legs, and they look like, the best I can describe it is like imagine a dog, but instead of a body and head, there's just a big gray brain with like little tendrils where the mouth would be.
Okay.
And they are running after your group, and at the speed that you guys are moving at, it will catch up to you guys. Whether you want to keep running and fight, you can do that, or stop to try to do a distraction or anything, whatever. What do you think you want to do?
I think, and there's nothing much else around us. It's just like the dogs they're more Mind Flayers as well.
Let's have a little fun. Let's say,
okay.
I mean, in terms of environment, let's say that, because to me, I was originally just imagining this kind of larger stone cavern, but if we want to keep it interesting, I would say that,
we're underground, duh.
Yeah.
Shit.
I would say that there is, I might cut this out, but let's draw out a fun little map. So while there are quite a few enemies around you, you do have quite a few people on your team as well, as you are, usually you're used to sneaking by yourself, but at this point it's a little strange to be running with kind of everybody. I've sent you just a quick doodle sketch of the map with a little house symbol for where the mansion would be, and you're trying to make your way up. Any of those darker parts that I've kind of scribbled in would be more of like an abyss, or at least a much lower part of the Underdark where you could fall off. There seems to be a bit of a small gorge in the way, or a break in the ground that you could end up going around the left or the right side, as it appears that there are 2 Mind Flayers, a little like one near the X, one near the left side of that rip in the ground, and one near the right. So depending on how fast you move, maybe you can even make it around one of them. and there are those two brain hounds kind of making their way around the mansion right now.
Okay. I'm gonna say at this point, Maia doesn't so much care about stealth as she cares about getting the fuck out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to stop, turn around, and get ready to fight.
Sure. All right. Then I want you to roll initiative.
That is 8 plus 4, 12.
12. Hold on to that for me.
Because you got a lot of initiatives to roll.
All right. In initiative, I rolled a 52.
I don't think that's how that works.
No. I just rolled a bunch of d20s.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So with that in the initiative order, the brain dogs, or as I'm going to be calling them by their actual name, they are called intellect devourers. They actually go first in the initiative order, but since they are a bit farther from the mansion, they're going to use their action to dash. And that on their next turn, with a movement, they should be able to make it to you.
Okay.
But after that, you are next on the initiative. I will say that you have...
How far away are they?
You have... where do you stop on the map? Do you stop, like, before the gorge? Or are you gonna, like...
I think we've run far enough that we're a bit past the gorge, like we're on that other side of that... that one gorge that goes down.
Yeah, sure. So, I'm gonna say that at this point, all three of the Mind Flayers have gotten to about within 30 feet. And the intellect devourer is just on the outside, like, just hitting 30 feet. Just to keep it easy.
Okay. See, I don't have any, like, prep moves. Like, if this was Pokemon, I would use Swords Dance right now to boost my attack power, but that's not a thing that I can do here. I think I'm just gonna wait for them to come.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I mean, you
like, because I'd rather be still than them having momentum. Or I guess they would have some momentum to them, but I'd rather be still and sturdy right now and see kind of as they're coming towards us rather than try to like dash towards them and misstep or anything.
I mean, you wouldn't have to dash. You'd be able to still use your movement and then reach them, and then still be able to attack in close combat if you'd want.
You know what? Actually, yeah, I'm gonna do that, and the others around, like the others with me, can kind of do as they please.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to come up and get in the melee, or if they can do stuff from afar, then they can do that as well. I'll use my claws.
Sure.
And just kind of dash, like try to run on all fours very clumsily, and then kind of like pounce at them and get my claws into one of them.
Sure. Are you going after one of the Mind Flayers?
Oh shit! There's Mind Flayers and dogs. Then yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let me do one of the Mind Flayers.
Yeah. Sure. You see one of the ones that has gotten maybe the closest, and they have these very focused, glowing eyes directly at you, and they are just running in your direction, and then they see you barreling towards them, and this slight look of like, oh shit. Go ahead and make your
shit,
attack.
A tiger.
Yeah, oh shit.
That was 19 plus 4.
Yeah, that'll hit.
23. Yeah. Alright, so I guess
I think you make attacks for each claw.
Each claw? Okay. That's a 14 plus 4.
That'll still hit.
Okay, so I do 1d8 plus dex slashing damage for each one. It's going to be 6 and 5, 11 damage total. So I literally pounce on him and slash whatever part is closest to me.
Yeah, you pounce right on him, and he is still able to keep his footing slightly as he almost falls back, and as he's trying to keep his balance as you are... in terms of size, much bigger than them. I mean, they are a bit tall, but they are very slender. And you rake your claws directly into their body, slashing one right across its chest, and you see, piercing that armor, this kind of brackish goo of blood begin to pour out as it does this squeal of pain. And you then bring the other claw right down or across its stomach, revealing even more of that blood as you pierce right through that armor.
Sweet.
Right after that, I'm going to try to keep these pretty quick, as with a bigger fight, with multiple players, I would have lots more rolls and things like that. But I actually have a physical D20 here in front of me.
Sweet.
So I can lie about all of my numbers instead of posting them in Discord. No, I'm kidding.
I've been 100% truthful with all mine, and you know that.
Yep, I know. That was not at you. That was like, that was just like me being evil. No, I'm kidding. So let's see. Up next is Pronder. Pronder's going to go for one of the dogs that are running up, and Pronder is going to make a stab with that mushroom rapier, and he hits and he stabs right through the cranium of it. It mostly is cranium, actually, and it seems as if, he pierces right through some of the wrinkledness of the brain, and as he pulls it right out, instead of it, some of that brackish blood begins to come out again, but there seems to be little mushrooms where the attack was.
Oh shit.
Like placed on where that exactly was. Isaac is going to run up and at almost a superhuman kind of level speed. Again, he's not wearing much armor or anything, but he goes up to one of the Mind Flayers and he actually attacks with both of his claws. So he takes 2 swipes. Ooh. He misses with one and then hits with the other as he just scratches it right across the Mind Flayer's face, just scratching right over one of the eyes. As then nice. Sue is going to... Let's see. Spells. Sue is going to cast Guiding Bolt on the other untouched Mind Flayer, and it actually misses as the Mind Flayer, this shot of light emanates from Sue's hand, and this beam just shoots across, and the Mind Flayer manages to duck and roll out of the way. And right after that is Rose, and with now in this Were-Tiger form, still holding the little mycoid Todd in her little bag. She actually goes up to the Mind Flayer that Sue was attempting to shoot at, and instead of taking a swipe with her claws, she actually holds Todd up and then squeezes him like a little chew toy, and all of these spores come out. And the Mind Flayer seems to breathe them in for a moment, but manages to shake off whatever effect it might have done. With that, the Mind Flayers are up, and the Mind Flayers are really fucking pissed. So the one in front of you actually takes 2 of its hands to its forehead, and you feel this blast of energy. I need you to make an intelligence saving throw.
Not great at those. Actually, no, I'm proficient in those, actually. Never mind. Not when I get a nat 1, though.
Nat 1. Alright, with that, you are going to take 4d8 plus 4 psychic damage.
Okay, 4d8, thank God. Not 48.
Yeah. You take 17 psychic damage as you feel this wave of pain just cross over your head. You can't help but kind of reach up and is this like stressful pounding for a moment. As then we will say one of the Mind Flayers takes a tentacle attack to try to grab at Rose. +7. That is, that's a 20, so that's going to hit Rose, and the Mind Flayer actually, its tentacles from its mouth almost extending in a way that wouldn't have immediately looked natural, but there must be even more farther down its throat. It grabs Rose and manages to pull them back. Rose is going to have to make an intelligence saving throw, and succeeds, trying to keep this thing away from her head, as Todd is almost also being squished in the middle there. At the same time, we have Isaac working with one of them. That one's also going to make a tentacle attack, and that one is going to just succeed. And then Isaac needs to make a saving throw, and Isaac fails, and he is stunned until he's able to get out of this grapple, as that one starts to grab at his brain. With that, the Intellect Devourers begin to make their way into range. One of them is engaged with Pronder, so that one is going to make a couple claw attacks. It misses. Its claw attack me see, multi-attack, yeah. This is 1, and then hits with the other, slashing Pronder for... Oh, so many dice. 4, 5, 6 damage as it slashes Pronder right across the side. With the other Intelligence Devourer is going to run up and meet Tasu, and it is going to... You actually see it almost like it is getting ready to pounce. However, it's still at like a distance of about 10 feet. Sue fails to save with an intelligence saving throw, and all of a sudden you notice that kind of the way that when heat changes the air and it looks as if it kind of goes wavy for a moment, you see this beam of this invisible wave go from the Intelligence Devourer towards Sue. With that, you see Sue reach for her head as if her head hurts for a moment. And then Sue, instead of immediately reacting to it, just kind of puts her hands down and still keeping her balance, just has this kind of distant look on her face, as if there's not a thought behind her eyes.
Ah, damn it.
With that, you are up again.
We got fucked up. Holy shit. Alright. I'm going to try... I think I just need to try to fuck up the guy in front of me to get something done.
Yeah.
Because I am 11 hit points from death.
Mm-hmm.
And our healer is incapacitated. This is going to be an attack roll of 17.
17, that'll hit.
17, and my other one is 22.
22, that one will also hit.
Alright, so gonna get my claws out again. That's gonna be 7 plus 8, 15. 15 points of damage.
15. With that, what does it look like as you kill this Mind Flayer?
This is going to be more, I guess more, rather than slashing and pouncing, this is going to be more disemboweling. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be graphic, but I'm going to basically like put my claws into the cut that I made earlier and just stick my whole fucking paw in there.
Okay.
And swipe at his insides.
Yeah, you get in there, and so is it like you grab it with one hand and then like reach in with the other? And are you
essentially?
And are you pulling things out, or are you trying to like rip in half, or
rip a hole?
Yeah, I think with
so that stuff can fall out.
Yeah, you grab that wound and you just reaching in a little bit farther, you get some purchase with some what feels like ribs, and you begin to just pull it apart, and you hear this cracking sound as whatever is inside here, there is this lumpy masses inside, but they are covered with that tar-like bluish blackish blood as it begins to pour out, and the Mind Flayer goes pale as it falls to the ground in a mess of everything.
Nice.
With that, you have a bonus action and a movement if you wanted to. Or actually, or I don't know if you use your bonus action for that second attack.
I actually do not know.
If
you want to count that as my bonus action, then that's cool.
I feel like it's like a multi-attack. Like wielding a two-handed weapon,
Right. Yeah.
So I think that it's just an action.
All right. Sue, who is Sue currently engaged with?
Sue is currently engaged with one of the Intellect Devourers.
Okay, I'm going to run over there to at least like put myself between the Devourer and Sue.
Sure. Okay. I think then we have Pronder, who's going to take another stab at the other Intellect Devourer. That is going to miss as it manages to move right out of the way, but it still seems to be taking a little bit of damage from the mushroom spores that have begun to grow from its head. That it's almost like leaning to one side as if like its big head starts to hurt. And you then have Isaac, who is going to try to get out of that grapple and is going to fail. The Mind Flayer actually begins to... You hear it for a moment as it gets your attention just after you get to Sue. You hear this loud crack as you look over and see that at the top of Isaac's head, his head has been slightly caved in. And there seems to be like a couple tentacles reaching into his head. And he's like, ow, ow, as he is just trying to get out of this. And you're just like, thank God this guy is able to like regenerate, because he's been through so much tonight.
Yeah.
After that is going to be Sue. Now, with that, Sue still seems to be incapacitated. And after that is going to be Rose and Todd, who are... Rose is going to take both of her claws and reach into the Mind Flayer. Both are going to hit as Rose begins to just slash down on this Mind Flayer. Actually, one slashing across the chest, but ending that slash at one of the arms and grabbing it. Actually grabbing the shoulder, and then the other hand actually grabbing the wrist of that arm and just ripping the arm off.
Nice.
And then with that is going to be the Mind Flayers. So we have one down. The one who has Isaac is going to attempt a extract brain hit, but it is trying to find purchase in Isaac's brain, as it is trying to pull it out, and you are beginning to see just hints of brain tissue. And at the same time, the one engaged with Rose is going to do a Mind Blast. Rose is going to fail that, and takes 18 psychic damage. And Todd seems to be unconscious.
What the fuck did you just do to us, Walsh?
Yeah. With that is going to be the, I was like, why did I call them BH? And I was like, oh, Brainhounds. Is going to be the Intellect Devourers. You have the one that you've placed between yourself and Sue, and the other one with Pronder. One is going to take a claw attack at Pronder. One is going to miss, but one is a crit. That was times 2, so 6 damage as it slashes across Pronder's shoulder. And with that, it is going to make 2 claw attacks at you, as you have gotten a little bit too close for comfort. That is a 14 to hit.
Does not hit.
And a natural 20.
That will hit. Damn it.
I know, I'm doing very well. And that deals 7 slashing damage.
Okay. Walsh, I gotta say, I'm not in the best spot.
Yeah. No, it's all good.
Okay.
Don't worry, there's a Deus Ex Machina. I think I see it on the horizon.
Don't.
I think
okay.
It's you remember? It's that guy. He's here. But now it is your turn.
Okay, I want to how close are we to like the edges? Is it pretty like
I would say
near them?
I would say pretty close. I would say with a solid hit, you should be able to knock this thing off.
What if I want to pick it up and throw it at the other one?
I think you could do that. I think I would have you make a strength check, and then I would also have you just make a attack to hit.
Okay, so strength to pick up.
Yeah.
And then an attack to hit the other one.
Yeah.
Alright. So, my strength check. Nat 20!
Natural 20.
Yes!
With that, it is in an instant, you just have this Intellect Devourer above you. It is heavier than it looks, but with your Were-Tiger strength, you make purchase and your claws dig in deep into it underneath it, and you are holding it above your head.
Alright, and then to throw it at the other one, my want is to, like, knock them both over the edge. Like, throw this one to hit the other one and have them both fall over the edge.
Yeah, you can. I don't think you're proficient in throwing intellect beasts or intelligence devourers, but because you're using it as a ranged attack, I'll let you use your dexterity modifier if you'd like. Instead of your strength.
That'll be a 17 plus 4.
Yeah, with that, you hurl this giant four-legged brain across the stone chasm and bash it into the other one as Pronder sees the two of them collide and just immediately fall off as they give this weird hound-like but still very alien-like whines as they both smack into one another, and with the force that you have thrown it both have gone over the abyss edge, and with that you have cleared both of the intellect devourers.
Fuck yeah.
I will say that took your bonus action, but you still have a movement if you want.
I think I am so beat up that even though like the other Mind Flayer is still like I missing it, he's disarmed. Does not have an arm.
Yeah. And
Or
then
has an
there's
injured arm,
the one that is trying to eat Isaac.
Okay, so there's one with Rose, one with Isaac.
Yeah.
So I can't move and attack. So I think I have to. And I'm like, how's Sue doing? Like when I got rid of that one.
Sue is there, like right next to you, but still seems to be a little bit in a daze. If you wanted to try something simple, I would let you be able to do that instead of your movement if you wanted to.
Okay, I want to. Can I like run to Sue and shake her shoulders?
Yeah, I think like she was only like 5 feet behind you, as there's 10 feet between Sue and the intellect devourer, and you place yourself in the middle. With that, here I'll give her advantage on her saving throw.
Okay.
So we will come to that in just a second. Pronder, I think, is going to run over to Isaac and attempt to stab the other Mind Flayer with a natural 20.
Hell yeah.
So that is... Oh, come on. Rolled so well. That is going to be 6 damage as it stabs into the Mind Flayer. And again, you see those mushrooms beginning to sprout from the wound again. It actually went around to behind the Mind Flayer, and it stabs through, not wanting to aim for Isaac, it stabs through one of the Mind Flayer's sides, and you see these mushrooms begin to slowly grow from that attack. Isaac is going to try to get out of this attack again, and fails. And then with that, Sue is up. A 1 and a 2. With that, is able to save. Sorry, no. I meant like first roll, second roll. However, that first roll was a natural 1.
Cool.
But that second saving throw, Sue begins to like wake up, and you see like by like the side of her beak, there's like a little drool coming out, and then she kind of like blinks for a moment as you've been shaking her. Sue like looks around like, "Hello."
Good. Okay.
I want to say that's her turn.
Okay.
But Sue is now back. And then with that, Rose is going to try to finish this Mind Flayer with 2 more claw attacks, natural 1, and a 19. And you see Rose, having pulled that arm off, takes that arm, and then smacks the Mind Flayer in the head, actually caving in its head as it falls to the floor. And with that is going to be the Mind Flayer. Mind Flayer is going to make 1 more extract brain attack.
Poor Isaac.
Yeah, that is going to succeed.
Shit.
And with that, you actually see Isaac's skull opened up, and it begins to bite into his brain, and Isaac goes completely limp.
Shit.
As he has taken enough damage that it begins to pull the brain out of his head. With that, you are up.
Alright, so would you count this as he is engaged with another person?
Yes, and if he is not, Pronder most certainly is.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to do my claws again, but I want to add my sneak attack damage.
Go right ahead.
If I succeed. Ooh, no, that's an 8 plus 4.
That is an 8 plus 4. Well, you have 2 claw attacks.
Okay,
actually,
that's true.
8 plus 4 just doesn't hit. These guys aren't...
Okay.
They don't have the greatest AC, but that does not hit. Give me your second claw attack.
It was 7 plus 4.
7 plus 4. That one...
I trip and miss and fall down.
With that one, you try to... You go to do your claw attacks, but you are hesitant for a moment, not wanting to hit Isaac, as he is immediately in the way that the Mind Flayer is holding him. And you are able to see, like, his head has been opened, and his brain... with a little bite marks here and there, and it is just being fully extracted from his head.
Fucking, these things are weird.
Yeah. Pronder is up. He's going to take 1 more attack at this thing. That's going to hit. He's going to do some damage. And then the mushrooms are going to do some more damage. All of a sudden, the Mind Flayer, it takes another stab, actually through its throat. And it goes, but it is still standing. And more mushrooms begin to grow, and the mushrooms Pronder had placed earlier are beginning to grow as well. It is barely holding its footing, but it is still trying to devour. But after that, Sue is up. Sue actually brings her hands together, and from her quarterstaff, she brings that down onto the stone, and there is this strange light that begins to emanate from the bottom of the staff, and the light, it isn't blinding, but it seems to fill this area that you guys have all been fighting within. And within it, you all kind of feel this healing energy. In one moment now, Isaac is awake, and Isaac is able to see his brain sticking out of his head, like still being held on by a stem, and he just starts screaming. And now it's Rose's turn.
Oh, God.
Rose is actually going to try to pull the brain out of the mouth. And with that, she actually rolled a nat 20. And she manages to get one claw in where those tentacles are. And you hear this crack as if kind of breaking the jaw. And with the other hand, grabs the brain and almost just scoops it back into the cranium. As Isaac is still screaming. With that, it is now the Mind Flayer is going to try to hit kind of all of you within the vicinity with another Psychic Blast. So I need you to make a Intelligence saving throw.
This isn't gonna be pretty. That is a 6 + 5.
6
11.
+ 5. Then you take 12 points of psychic damage.
Maia is on the ground.
Okay. And you go limp. From your perspective, there is this extremely loud blast of psychic energy.
Mm-hmm.
And with it, you can't help but your eyes go dark and you fall to the floor. And maybe about 6 seconds go by before you feel yourself immediately go back up as you are healed within this, like, radiating energy coming from Sue by 10 points.
Oh, thank God.
With that, all you see as you are prone on the floor is this, what you can only describe as, like, a clusterfuck of chaos with this Mind Flayer. As the Mind Flayer is still fighting to hold on to Isaac's brain, Rose is, like, trying to scoop up whatever little brain pieces were still in its mouth to get back into Isaac's head. Isaac is screaming. Pronder is still trying to, like, stab the Mind Flayer. There's a lot going on. It is your turn.
Alright, I have to use a movement to get up, right?
Half your movement, but you were still right in front of it.
Okay.
Well, actually, hold on. Give me 1 second.
I mean, if I'm right next to him, then I don't need to move anyway.
Mm-hmm.
What are you rolling?
Because the Psychic Blast would have hit, I think, all of you except Pronder, because he's behind it. So Isaac surprisingly succeeded. Rose failed, but Rose is not... But yeah, actually, Rose goes down. And Rose is unconscious. Great. But it seems that this healing aura is able to heal people, like, almost every 6 seconds.
Nice. So
she prioritized you, and it, you know, whatever happens, hopefully it should be able to keep going.
Get Rose next.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. In that case, I'm going to. I've still got my claws. Walsh, I think I'm gonna punch him in the dick.
Go ahead.
With the claws.
Mm-hmm. Roll to hit.
Just where I am right now. That's an 8 + 4. Damn, and a 3 + 4. Shit.
Oh my goodness.
I thought I was good at killing, but I'm not.
I thought you were too. You are.
Yeah. Being unconscious must be hard to hit things well.
Now you were saying +4. Is that?
That's my dexterity, like adding my dex.
Oh, we said that you are proficient with your claws now.
Oh, did we? Oh, then I would add 7 total.
Mm-hmm. So
that would hit.
Yeah. So we'll keep it all canon up to this point. We won't fuck around too much. But with that, roll damage for me
okay.
For.
I think just one of them. I don't think that's gonna be 6 damage.
Okay. How do you want to do this?
I want to just try to prop myself up and slash up. I guess up his body, kind of as I'm standing up.
Sure.
Starting with his crotch.
Yeah, you kind of place yourself down, putting your left hand on the ground to balance yourself, and you begin this sort of right hook-like motion, but with your claws extended, as you are able to get around Isaac's legs, and you find purchase below the Mind Flare and dig your nails deep and begin to that slashing upwards motion. And that upwards motion, now that Rose had stopped being able to hold the mouth of this thing, it has begun to try to grab hold of Isaac's brain again. And with that one motion, you slash it right up the body with little bits of flesh and blood beginning to come off in bits and pieces, and you manage to slice right across its entire face coming up, but even the neck itself is completely eviscerated. As you continue your way up, it falls backwards. And make a perception check for me.
9?
9,
Sorry, 8. 8.
In 8, in the mess that follows of this Mind Flayer falling to the ground, you see one tentacle that has fallen, but you are not sure whether it is its stick or not.
Cool.
Alright, with that, within a matter of
Okay.
seconds, Rose is back up. And within a few seconds after that, Todd is to follow. I think that Isaac is very much like... He looks like something out of like a sci-fi movie,
Yeah.
where like the whole top of his head is just open and his brain is exposed, and he seems very, very loopy. And he is like, "I'll carry," and he's like holding his arms up like he needs help, and he's like stumbling and falling.
I help keep him stable.
Okay, you kind of have to carry him a little bit, but I think with your size and your strength, it doesn't slow you down very much.
Yeah.
And as you guys continue to move, that aura around Sue continues to move with her.
Cool.
So
Great.
it is not based on that one spot.
Awesome.
So I will say with that, you have the time right now. You know, other Mind Flayers are still trying to make their way over, but you have the time and the movement to make it to the exit.
We're getting the fuck out of here.
Okay. I will say with that, Pronder, you know, you guys all begin to run back, and for the next minute or so, Sue continues to heal everybody as you continue to run. So I will say with that, for ease, you actually go all the way back up to max HP.
Awesome.
Because, what is it? That's like 10 rounds of healing. She's going to try to hit everybody who was hurt at least a little bit, but you're her favorite, so she's going to try to prioritize you a little bit more. You continue to go down this path, and as you do, Pronder is the last one to go in the group, and you actually notice as you are going through a lot of, you know, because he led you through larger cavernous areas, but there are areas that are tunnels, areas that are much darker than others. And as you are moving through those tunnel-like areas, those mushrooms that Pronder had placed down before, he gives them a little tap with like, and you see like these little like spores exit his fingers, and the mushroom begins to grow very quickly. And with roots and extra mushroom caps coming out of it, it fills the entire tunnel with dense mushroom-like material.
Nice work.
No problem. Oh my god,
We fucking almost died.
Yeah, I don't know how you Were-Tigers do it, but you guys are tough.
Yeah, that's part of it, huh?
Mm-hmm. I think with that, you make your way back to the Mycoid village. Sue is able to heal you up to full, but Isaac is still a little loopy. And Pronder suggests taking him to the church that you guys were at and taking him to the elder to help.
Okay, be careful, because if it's like a real like church, he's not gonna have a fun time in there.
Well, then maybe we'll just bring the elder out into the courtyard.
Yeah, that sounds better.
So you enter that courtyard where those statues were, and place him down on the softer kind of mossy grass as the elder comes out, and there is this weird kind of like hesitancy as it's like, well, I I don't want the character's like, I don't want Isaac to die, but even some of them are like, Rose is like, I kind of need, like parts of him for the spells we gotta do. So the elder comes out, and I think Isaac's fallen unconscious, but he is stable, being with you guys. His head is still open, but the healing factor that you feel like should have helped heal him up by now has worn a bit thin, and it is going much, much slower than it used to. And the elder comes over and kind of kneels down where he is and puts his hand over the head. I'm not as familiar with more humanoid or flesh-like biology, but I think I'll be able to help. It takes some time, but there are little bits and pieces of, brain that he's able to kind of put back together like a puzzle piece. Make a medicine check for me.
All right, I don't know how well I do at that. Not the best. That's a 6 + 1.
Okay. I was like, you rolled a 1? I would say with a 7, it takes some time. And there are lots of pieces that kind of have to get mushed back together. And you can only hope that if whatever personality was there, it's not like weird or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's put back together, and the elder takes one of, he kind of has like a stubby kind of hand with little fingers on them. And he takes 2 of those fingers and he goes around the opening of the cranium, kind of like a finger around the top of a glass. And as he moves it around, you see this moss-like magic begin to happen as this greenish color begins to move over the top of his head. And his head begins to grow back, but it has this kind of plant-like look to it, and it extends upwards and further, and very slowly the top of his head begins to grow. Almost like a wide straw hat. A mushroom cap is on top of his head, closing his head, and, as a kind of makeshift skull. And it takes a little bit of time, but Isaac comes back to consciousness.
How you doing?
You see him kind of collecting his thoughts as he's in a very weird state. And he's like, we're all good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're out of there. Some Mind Flayers are dead. Some are, still there, but we didn't have the strength to kill all of them. But you look okay. Do you feel okay?
I feel okay. And he kind of reaches his head up hesitantly to feel the top of his head. And he just feels this big mushroom. And he's like, and he kind of scratches it a little bit, and a little bit breaks off, and he's like, and then the elder's like, do not worry, this is only temporary. Think of it like a cast. It will, as you begin to grow your skull back, which you weird vampire people probably will, I think, the mushroom will begin to molt and fall off. Oh, okay. And then the elder was like, but I do not know the side effects of what mixing mycoid and whatever you are's DNA, or I guess biology. So, and then Todd kind of jumps in we're just glad you're alive.
We're just glad you're alive.
I was wondering why that voice wasn't coming up. Yeah, I mean, weird shit can happen, but you're still gonna be the same person, even if you look a little different for a second.
He begins to laugh, and at first it's this kind of nervous laugh, oh my god, I survived. But then the laugh kind of goes on a little bit too long, and you wonder, that didn't affect his personality, right? And he's like, oh, I'm just gonna... Thank you, Maia.
You're welcome. Glad we could get you out of there.
I'm just gonna lie down here. Can I have my bag of dirt? You have it.
Yeah, sure. Here you go.
And he just grabs his bag of dirt and like a big pillow. He's just like, I'm just gonna rest right here.
Cool.
I think with that, Rose is still there. She no longer holding Todd. Kind of waiting to the side.
So, how big of a piece do you think you'll need? Like, he regenerates pretty well. I don't want to take anything from him yet because seems like, well, I'd say he needs blood, but that's kind of like the antithesis of vampires, whatever. But like, I'm sure that when he's more conscious, you can get a piece from him for what you need to do.
Yeah. And I know that you need a piece of him too. I was actually, here's my notes. It would be, so you do a remove curse spell, but you need a vial of vampiric blood, a passion bell, which is a flower from the Feywild, a diamond worth at least 1,000 gold pieces, which the spell consumes, and it would be cast as a ritual. And then there is a DC that you would have to overcome, but if you do specific preparation or add certain things that might be important, it isn't, explicitly clear, then that'll help the DC go down.
Gotcha.
And the curing ritual will only work if the subject wants to be rid of the curse. And then to create a permanent doorway to the Feywild, one that will open and close based on its relation to the moon, you need a forked metal rod, worth at least 250 gold pieces, attuned to a particular plane of existence, which in this case would be the Feywild. You need the hair of a lycanthrope, so that might be a little hard to get. You need vampiric flesh, and a stone doorway made of Sarsen sandstone. The Sarsen sandstone. And it needs to be cast as a ritual, and then same thing where it is a DC, but certain things in preparation can help the DC go down. And all of this is restated more in terms that wouldn't sound like you're playing a game, where
I understand.
It is all restated by Sue, who seems to have both of these, all of it memorized.
Did you happen to pick up any of his head or brain chunks while you were gone? While the skirmish was going on?
I think she kind of like looks over herself for a moment, and stuck in one of her patches of fur, she grabs something and she's like, I think this is part of his scalp.
I mean, that looks like the right skin tone.
Yeah.
So I would assume so. Do you think that's enough?
I think so.
Okay.
But, and I guess you can wait for him to come back a little bit before you get that blood.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about the blood anymore.
I really did not expect to see you here. This is weird.
It is, but, yeah.
I'm gonna go back to my town and tell them what happened. And I think that I can, a metal rod, that's fine. I can get that. And we can work on getting whatever sandstone we need to.
Yeah.
Building that. But if you are looking for that passion bell, that flower, or if you wanted to look into the Feywild, that's what I'm working on.
Rose, when that night happened, and I'm not, I want to start this just by saying I'm not looking for sympathy or redemption, I guess, in your eyes. When that night happened, my life changed. Yours did too, I know, but I have kind of gone on a different path, and I'm not the person I was a year ago. And I just want you to know that. And I am thinking about the things that you said to me that night, and it was those words were the wake up call that I needed. And I'm sorry for what happened. It doesn't make it right, but I wanted to thank you for setting me on the right path.
She kind of looks you up and down. I can kind of tell. You seem different. Even in the way you attacked or moved, it was different, like you were more comfortable.
Yeah. Also, I totally would have fucking died if I wasn't a Were-Tiger just now.
Yeah.
So, I've got a lot of shit that I'm thinking about, and I don't know if I want to be rid of this quite yet. it might be nice to have the option. So I think I'll tag along with you if you'll have me. 'Cause I don't know, I feel like this is the fact that we're meeting again is crazy, and I think some sort of a sign, and if you are okay with it, I would like to come with you, and I'd like to bring Sue if she wants to come.
Yeah. I've felt like that night it really was really hard, and it was hard for the entire town. And Bartholomew's still running things, but things have been very up in the air as to what's going to happen. But I don't feel the same way I did a year ago, and I think I've come to not necessarily forgive everything, but to accept everything. And a sense of understanding what happened and not getting over it, but getting past it and moving forward. I think she kind of looks down at like the little piece of the scalp in her hand and kind of closes it. But seeing you was definitely a surprise. And seeing you be different, I think, has affected how I feel as well. And you helping me and I don't know, but yeah, you guys can come.
Great. Thank you, Rose.
Yeah, of course.
By the way, if you want your ego stroked a bit, this entire town is like fucking insane for Were-Tigers. So like if you just walk around kind of like we are now, they're gonna like celebrate you. It's pretty cool.
Why? What's the I saw the statues, but I spoke to Todd a little bit, but what's the deal with the Were-Tigers? And Pronder's like, well, you see, long ago, and he starts going on, and you can't help but look again at the statues in the courtyard. And, the sort of Animorph style, one of them being a human, another one changing, and the other two, fighting. And those spots, on their skin indicating that cheetah print. And I guess how weird it's been to be somewhere where they are, like, so pro lycanthropy.
Yeah.
And I think you just take a moment to kind of take it in. And then, and not even realizing, how long Pronder is going on about whatever history, or that he's finished. And then Pronder coming up, seeing you looking at them, is like, yep, they were 4 legendary cheetah girls.
God damn it. Piss off that I did not recognize that until now.
Every one of their names was just a weird spelling of one of their songs.
Oh my god. I see that now.
Is there anything you want to do? Or I think that's a good place to...
That I don't see how else we can continue from there.
No, I'm sorry. I closed the book right then and there with the cheetah girls.
No, that's good. Feels natural.
Mm-hmm. Table Party's been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at The Table Party and at Team Chaos Pods, or on Instagram at Team Chaos Productions. See you again soon. I felt like that was very good, and I'm glad that we were able to explore the ending a lot more.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that made a lot more sense.
Yeah.
All right, are we done?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, see y'all next year.